Yes, guys, welcome back to the Irish Hotspur from match day live as Tottenham travel to Turf Moor to take on Burnley and hope to put Tuesday night's cup exit behind us and kick on and get back to winning ways. Of course, the transfer window is closed as well, so we'll be talking a little bit about that as well as talking about the game in the build-up to it. And we are joined by special guests, so what we'll do is we'll go around the houses, see how everyone is, welcome some people in the chat. Let's get into talking about this great football club. But Paul, we'll start with you, my man. How are you keeping, sir?
I'm good. I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go for the game. It's not just any game. It's revenge for Burnley kicking us out of the 1909 FA Cup. That's what it is. So I'm looking forward to a good thumping with a bit of vengeance thrown in for good measure.
Oh, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. James, how are you keeping, my man?
Buzzing, mate. Ange Ball's back. Screw the negativity from Tuesday, mate. We are back with that first team. None of this 9 changes. We got that first team back out, baby, and we are going to get a lovely, lovely win. I'm buzzing to be joined alongside beautiful, beautiful guests.
It's absolutely great to have you back, James. It's been a while, my man, and it's good to have you back, that's for sure. And last but not least, the one and only Perchy. How are you keeping, my man? First time on, it's great to have you.
I'm all good. I feel like it's something we've been trying to sort out for ages, and it just never seemed to happen, but thanks for having me on, mate. Yeah, all good. All things are good.
No. It's very good to have you, my man. And everybody, as we go along, please subscribe to the likes of Hotspur, Hippie, Spurs Related, and Perchy TV as well as we go along. I'll do my best to drop the links in as we go along. So every once in a while, just click over there, smash the subscribe button, and share the love around. Let's welcome some people in. We have Warrior, big up Warrior without master. Great to see you. Killian Kenny, great to see you, my man. He says co-chair of Dublin. Spurs Related's in the house. Big up, James. I don't know whether that's the other partner in crime over in America or not either. Big up Ribsy as well. He says 2-0 back on track tonight. Absolutely love that. Big up Stevie Fraser, needs something to lift the mood after a failed window. No centre-back cover, no striker. But hopefully Ange can work some magic this season. Come on, you Spurs. Stevie, my man, I think that's what we're relying on right now. Donovan Oosterreicher says taking a leaf out of Jack's book and going to go on a run while you guys are streaming. Let's go. 3-0, Big Vic, clean sheet. Yeah, Jack's probably sprinting through Central Park with Richarlison on the back as we speak, my man. Big up Mark. He says if Villa can win 3-1, then we should have no problems. 3-1 Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely love that. Big up Iceman says good morning. All big up Jack and Dave and everyone in the chat. Score predictions 3-0 to the mighty Spurs. Back to winning ways today in Big Ange we trust. Come on, you Spurs. Big up the Iceman. Tequila 316 says I love Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer loves me. I am unhappy that we did not get Maguire to form the moon and snap connection at centre back. Terry P says, I think Spurs will win. I think you're on the tequila a bit too early there, my man. Share some around. Shamu, big up Shamu. He says, 2 a.m. kickoff for me. We better win in Ange Ball. We trust. For you, for all the New Zealanders and the likes of Paul, all the Australians out there, very, very late evening to you guys for the kickoff. And I absolutely admire the dedication. Dark Sun G says, come on, you Spurs. Since we will play with our best 11, we will win, Paul. You want to have a crack at this one? What do you want to say at Dark Sun G?
I think he's spot on. I think we're gonna see the main guys back on the pitch, and I'm very excited to see them as well. Just see if they can carry on where they left off. It's going to be great. 9 changes maybe, but I think you can do that when you're a football manager.
Well, look, what I will say is it'll be a huge test if he makes another 9 changes to see if we can go out there and win. It'll be an absolute huge test because I'm expecting 9 changes again and putting the first brigade out there. But Dark Sun G, my man, look, I think we'll go on and win this game. We should. Once you get the first 11 back out there, we've seen the massive drop-off or the massive increase in quality when they're out there compared to the second-string team. So, look, hopefully we can get the result today, my man. We should, and it puts us in nice stead heading into the international break, brother. Great to see you in the building, though, and hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Big yourself up. We also have Kerry King. Come on, you Spurs. Glad the window's shut. Let's just get on with it and watch some decent football. That's the plan today, Kerry King. Great to see you. King Hoddle says, whether the failure to acquire an additional centre-back impacts us significantly will only be judged at a future date. Meanwhile, I will back Ange and each and every player that does the Spurs, that dons the Spurs jersey. Let's go. Each and every player, bar Eric Dyer at this point, bar Endon Pele at this point, and bar Hugo Lloris at this point. I'm sorry, despite what people say to me and want me to get behind these guys, It ain't happening. They've had chances to leave this football club, and they did not want to. But Eric Dyer, who loves it that much, he wants his ashes buried underneath the ground. He went even further than what fans would say, and then he wouldn't leave the club for the benefit of Tottenham Hotspur. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I'll get behind everyone that we've signed and stuff like that, whether I agree whether they've been great signings or not. Wear a Spurs jersey, I'll get behind them, but I will not support them all. And throw Davison Sanchez on that list. Not supporting that guy. I'm not doing it. Sweeney Todd says, morning, guys. Hope all is good. Big up, Sweeney Todd. Great to see you in the building. Donovan Oosterreicher says, Basuma dominates against low block, weaker teams. Perchy, we'll throw this one at you, my man.
Listen, let's be honest. I don't think they're going to play like that. This isn't Burnley of old, right? This is the new Burnley that don't play this low block system, right? This is a very expansive, very young and hungry Burnley side that Vincent Kompany's built. So, no, I don't think we're going to play low blocks. I wouldn't say Burnley are weak. So I think we should be beating them, right? Should be beating them. We've got a better squad, right? We've got a better first 11 than their 11. Should be beating them. And yeah, I think we should be breaking them down quite easy today. I'm going very positive, and I think we should win this game quite comfortably.
And that's for sure.
The heart of it.
I think you'd agree, Perchy. Vincent Kompany has had to adjust it a little bit since, life to the Premier League, but he still looks to play on the front foot football and go and attack teams. I agree with you there. They're definitely not the old Burnley that we're used to seeing under Sean Dyche, where it's 10 people behind the ball and then launch it long up to Ashley Barnes or something like that. They will look to play through us today, Donovan. But look, Basuma should be able to get on the ball and dominate. It should be waltzing through that midfield. Absolutely. Big up, my man. Really appreciate the support. We welcome in a few more and then we will crack on. We welcome in just a harmless potato. Big yourself up. Not harmless to my gut, my man. That's why I'm like this. Martin Knightsbridge says, top of the morning to your game day. Big up. We also have Carl Gurke says, evening all from Melbourne. Big up, Carl. Great to see you in the building. Great dedication. Foggy phone. Great to see you, my man. Same as you, Chris. Also, Daniel Sandoval, good morning, big up. Come on, you Spurs. One love. Sarah Ace, great to see you, my man. And Wembley 1 says, morning, everyone. After a typical underwhelming window, let's get our starting 11 out there to kick Burnley ass today and hurl 2 fingers up at Levy. James, do you want to take this one, my man?
I agree with him. It was an underwhelming window. I refuse to start commenting saying it's a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 window because it's not. Part of a transfer window is to offload players. Unfortunately, we didn't offload enough at the end of the day. Like you just mentioned, Dave, Lloris is still here. Sanchez is still here. Dyer's still here. I could list them all. But we know that, half a transfer window is outgoings. And unfortunately, we had poor outgoings. We had good incomings. I'm very happy with our incomings. Could have probably had a couple more for squad depth. But I agree with this underwhelming comment. And good to see our starting 11 back today, Wembley. I 100% completely agree. Like Perchy just said, it's none of this sort of squad rotation today. We get that 11 out there. We've got a much better 11 than them and should be a comfortable win. Should be. Yeah,
look, I really hope so. Look, actually, there's a guy called Darren Michael. He's took everything I said last night completely out of context on Twitter, going underneath the Spurs official page, trying to become best friends with Johnson, going, oh, Dave slated you. I mean, I didn't. What I did say is people need to understand when it comes to Brennan Johnson, the biggest driving force behind the deal was the fact that he was homegrown, the fact that we needed homegrown players in here. I went through in great detail the dross we have as homegrown registered players and the fact that we have to get on top of it and start bringing them in. I also highlighted why I think Ange likes him, his goals, his assists, and his work rate out of possession. I don't know what more you want me to say, just because I'm not sitting here going, it's a 10 out of 10 signing. We have to understand. Ange was okay with Harry Kane going, but he would have said to the club, well, I don't want an out-and-out number 9, which, look, that's what the reports are. I don't believe it personally. I want someone that's versatile, that can play all across the front line. And then the club would have come back and said, okay, but you have to bring in homegrown. So that takes away 90% of your market. I mean, if that's speaking bad about a guy, well then, I mean, Jesus Christ, I may just shut up and not speak at all. Honestly, it's absolutely a joke. But look, all in all, I think it's one of them windows, Wembley 1, where I said it last night. I think the good that we did do in this market, once again is being overshadowed by what we failed to do, what we didn't do. And that's the sad reality of it. It seems to be like that every transfer window. It was the same last summer. Got off to a great start. Could have kicked on, really given the manager a good chance to succeed, given the squad depth, failed to do it. And we've done the exact same this time around, and it's that simple. You know, I'm not going to sit here and rate the window 10 out of 10 just to appease people if I don't believe it is 10 out of 10. It's that simple. But look, it's all about getting on the field today, getting the result, and sending me into the international break happy clapping. That's what I want when Wembley won. So big yourself up, brother. Really appreciate it. Just bear with me, guys. A few more comments, and then we will get in and talk about the transfer window and stuff like that in some great detail. A lot of people in early this morning. Everyone, big yourselves up. That's probably all the people you sent over, Percy.
Yeah, a load of them came over from me.
I appreciate it. Everyone that's come over from Percy TV, I really do appreciate it. Stinging Nelson says, I want to see Phillips on the bench, not Sanchez or Dyer. Agree with that sentiment. Swim Master, great to see you. Let's get back to winning. Then let Ange do his magic on the training pitch for those not on international duty. Absolutely spot on, my man. Absolutely spot on. Mark Cook says, afternoon, everyone. Let's hope the first 11 do the biz. I think they will today, no problem. Seems mad. Big up, my man. Great to see you. Big up, Kate. Great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well, and hopefully the mother's all good. And big up, Jim, as well. Spurs GCTV, morning, chaps. Great to see you in the building. Hopefully you're keeping well. I'm just going to welcome in a few more. Dark Sunday. Just give me 1 minute, my man. Big up, George. Great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Also, big up, Tim Man 007. Great to see you. Are you going to the game today? Let me know, my man. Big up, Wilson T. Big up, Scotty Hynam. Big up, Simon Cohn. Great to see you. How are you doing, Simon? How are you and the family, my man? G. Edwards, great to see you, buddy. Drula, great to see you. Also, Scott Colliver, good day, everyone. Good, big up, my man. Nathan Rowland's gone 3-0. Love that. Welsh Gal, great to see you, Welsh Gal. Hopefully you keep well. Hopefully you've got them IPAs chilled, ready to go. And big up, Matt and Oz. I've had that bloody Barry Manilow song in my brain since Tuesday. Time for another dose. The away fans have been epic. The away fans have been absolutely incredible. But to be fair, they were under Antonio Conte last year as well. I remember them going to Fulham away, and for about 20 minutes solid, it was just chanting, Yid Army, Yid Army, Yid Army. It was absolutely mesmerising. We've got the best away fans in the league for sure. And big up Leslie Crawford as well. Great to see you. We've got a few more here. The Fallen, I'm just going to call you The Fallen. Big up Mark as well. Big up Shem Tam. And also big up Bottle too. Everyone, just bear with me. I'm very tired today after a long week. Spurred for life. Great to see you. And also Mark. Yeah, I will get behind them and give them a boot for sure, buddy. For sure. Then we have Michael Gardiner. New YouTube member. Michael, welcome to the Irish Hotspur community, my man. I really appreciate the support. Hopefully you get on ground. We've got plenty of members only content up there. We've been smashing it out, trying to give as much back for your membership as possible. So make sure you get on that. Let us know your thoughts on it, but also get on to the quizzes that'll be starting now next week and stuff like that. Fantasy football, plenty to keep you entertained. So big up, Michael, and hopefully you enjoy it, my man. And then Dark Son G says, for once, I'm not scared of turf more because of Mads, Sarr, Basuma. Hopefully, Son and Richie can score today. I hope to see Johnson play after the international break. Paul, we'll go to you with this one. What would you say, Dark Son G? He says, for once, he's not scared to go to turf more. I actually think we have a pretty good record there, though.
I think we slip up there from time to time. Yeah. But I mean, look at that midfield: Maddison, Sarr, and Basuma. It's just an absolute joy to watch, and you can see the difference in them between our B team. They're all coming back for the ball, especially if the defence is under the cosh and they need to pass their way out and they need an extra man. And James Maddison pops up, takes the ball, off he runs with it. So does Sarr and Basuma. So our first 11's great, and maybe Johnson will be after the international break. Who knows? We'll see what Richie does today. But I'm pumped, man.
For sure. Look, Daxon G, I'd love to see Johnson get a run out today. However, what I will say is I think there's a bigger plan in place here. I think the fact we didn't go for striker, I think the long-term plan is to move Kulu inside or Sonny inside and then have Johnson as an extra winger. I'd be surprised if Johnson is the one tasked or picked to sort of play down the middle. And I think on that, I think, I don't think you'll see him starting. You might see him get minutes, but I do think that's something that Ange might work on once players start getting back from the international break. Whereas for the midfield, Madison's been our most creative. I think he's had our most shots, most passes into the box. And, he's been an absolute sensation since we signed him. Sar Torre, Sar Belly, you've heard me giving this guy a nickname since we signed him. I'm glad he's come out, fighting. I am glad he's come out and take his place. He's absolutely smashing it. And he's crucial to that right-hand side. When Skip plays there, he doesn't offer defensive cover or offer anything going forward. When Papa Matt Sarr plays there, he offers defensive cover and he offers us a lot going forward. 1 goal, 1 assist to the start of the Premier League season for him. He's in absolute dreamland right now, my man. And as for Big Rich, look, let's wait and see what happens. As long as we put balls in the air in the box for him to go ahead, he'll score your goals. If you put him through on the ground, that's another question altogether, isn't it? He has to get his first touch right first on that. But big up, Dark Sun G. Let me know who you've got over the international break, though, Dark Sun G. Let me know who you've got. Ireland has got France and Holland. I may as well just go abroad on holidays or something like that. It's an absolute travesty. I have to go up to the Aviva to watch Ireland take on Holland, and I'm just going to be sitting there for 90 minutes depressed. Mark Cook says, praying for no injuries, 2-0 Spurs. Big up, lads. Big up, Mark Cook. Yeah, look, it'd be nice to get away with no injuries. Look, we can't afford injuries. We've seen that, Tuesday night. Some of the players in certain positions and areas of the pitch ain't good enough to step in, but loving the positivity with the 2-0. Look, with 2-0 against United, 2-0 against Bournemouth, if you're a better man, 2-0 today. Let's wait and see what happens, but big up Mark Cook. Now, I just want to go in and give everybody all the details they need to know, and then we'll start cracking on. So, of course, we will start. Why do I have this one up? That's my bad. Kickoff time. Oh, sorry. We travel to Turf Moor. It is a 3 p.m. kickoff. Now, make sure you jot these down. Referee's name is Darren England. In the VAR room, we have John Brooks. So if they mess up, we know who we need to go and look for. And then on the TV channels, of course, once again, it's not on in the UK and Ireland. And that's to do with initiative of blacking out a lot of the 3 o'clock kickoffs to encourage people to get down to lower league football. USA, the game is on Peacock TV, and in Australia it's on Optus Sports, and in Canada it's on Football TV. So wherever you're tuning in from, I've got you covered. They're the channels you need to go and watch. If you're from the UK and Ireland, I suggest getting on to a VPN very, very quickly. And then, of course, injury news. You've got Gil Messi out. You've got Rodrigo Benteker's out as well. And Ryan Sessegnon out with his hamstring. Refused to give him a nickname. And then you've got Burnley. You've got Sarari out. You've also got Bayer, who came off the other day. Ekdal, Charlinov, and then Irish guy Obafemi out long-term injured as well. So that's everything you guys need to know there. But look, we'll crack onto it. And I suppose we'll just go around the houses at the beginning and find out what everyone sort of makes of the transfer window. So we'll start with you on this one, Paul. The transfer window is closed. What's your thoughts on the window we've just had? Is it a good one or a bad one?
Well, I'm going to be a happy clapper and give it a 7. I think some of the signings we made, Vicario, perfect. Van de Ven, perfect. James Madison, perfect. And those 3 players alone have, unlocked a lot of potential in the first 11. As for the outgoings, yeah, I get it. We've still got these players hanging around, but I'll just go back to one of Ange's first press conferences when he said, look, he's going in a particular direction. He's going to a destination, and you can sort of try and do your own thing, but the only thing you're going to do is slow him down getting there. He is going to get there. So these players that have had the chance to leave the club and have chosen not to, they're in Ange's way. They're slowing him down. But I could bet your ass, either if they're not gone by the January transfer window, they'll have their agents on the phone saying, you're not getting minutes. I can't get my 15%, mate. They'll be gone in January, man. So yeah, I get it. Not perfect that they're still here, but I think the incomings have been really good. A really good start for a build of a good team.
Interesting. I like that take. I do like that. I respect it. We do. We have made some great signings, some very good signings. I just think it's going to be overshadowed by what we failed to do, which is the sad thing, really. But James, where are you at with the window? Do you think we've had a good one or a bad one?
I think it's not as good as Paul's saying, if I'm being deadly honest. I think sorry, Paul. I think it's more of a 5 out of 10, to be honest, because there's 2 sides of a transfer window. There's incomings and outgoings, right? And unfortunately, the outgoings, like I was saying a minute ago, were not good. Like, we didn't get rid of enough players. Our squad is still bloated. And incoming, great. I completely agree with Paul. Vicario, amazing signing. Maddison, amazing signing. Van der Ven looks like he's going to be brilliant. But why have we still got Dyer, Sanchez, Davies, Sessegnon, arguably? It's not good enough in that sense. And it's the same selling problem at Tottenham every year, every window. We're talking about the same things. January, we're tearing up contracts with Matt Doherty because we don't have enough room to get in a player on the last day on the window. Like, it's just the same. Yesterday, we're panicking. Yeah, we've got Brennan Johnson, probably going to be a really good signing for us. I'm quite happy with that. But, we could have done with one or two more in terms of depth. You look at Tuesday, shocking when you make 9 changes this team. Really bad.
Yeah. Look, I'm more of an agreement with that. I am. But big up Matthew as well. Great to see you in the building. Paul, feel free. If there's something
No, that's cool, man.
Paul, let's come back, Paul.
no, I get it. I know I'm on my own on that one, but that's all right. I just thought it was all right, but
Paul,
I'm under no illusions, though. I know we've got a lot of dead wood, and I know, we haven't seemed to have been free with our wallets as we could be, but we're playing nice football, so that'll do me at the moment.
Yeah,
Paul,
look, that's fair enough.
Can I just say though, Paul, we are playing nice football, and I'm buzzing for the game today because we're going to see 11 players that are all competent in their position. But and heaven forbid it happens, but God forbid it happens, but one or two injuries, Van der Ven, Romero, or a centre mid like Basuma and Sarr, who are really carrying the anchor there.
Yeah.
Then you start to worry because Skip
we're fucked. Yeah, I know.
And then Dyer comes in or Sanchez, and you're like, bloody hell, we're looking back like Conte era where we're going to make mistakes. So that's why I'm not 7 out of 8 out of 10. I
get it, but I'm sort of maybe bearing in mind what could the club actually have done. And if you're talking about players that the clubs have agreed it, and the player just goes, "No, I don't want to go." There's only so much you can do, but I think what we can do is going to start now because they're going to be more and more uncomfortable. That's why I think by January it'll all be fine.
I hope you're right, Paul. I'd really do.
Right, and I could be all bollocks.
I really know this club. Like, it more than me. Like, but
they'll fuck it up somehow.
Shit every window. Sorry. It just annoys me.
No, look, 100%. I get it. Big up Matthew, big up Ellie as well. And also, there's one more I wanted to say. Big up to, where is it? I can't remember, but big up Matthew and Ellie anyway. James, Perchy, my man. I mean, look, what's your overall feeling coming out of this window?
First of all, Paul's already get the yellow marker straight for the yellow marker straight away early in 20 minutes in. Big up. We know the drill. But honestly, on the transfer window, right? With the transfer window, listen, I think there's also another part that I think James mentioned was about incomes, outgoings. The other thing was timing, right? Felt like it took so long for us to do stuff. Timings of certain transfers didn't go well. Van der Ven for me was 4 weeks too long. Yeah. Should have been signed before pre-season. He goes in straight away on the opening game of the season, and there you go. He's now learning on the job, right? But I thought deadline day was underwhelming to say the least. I think, again, we can't sell players. That's got nothing to do with the club, by the way. I will put that out. That's not the club's fault. Was based on it happening. The problem is now we're at a situation where we just can't sell players. We've left it so long. I want the whole ethos of this football club to change. Sell players early. None of this. If a bid comes in, we need to change as a fan base and as a football club. None of this sentimental stuff. Look, players come and go. Look at Man City. They sold a kid that went to play 2 games, started 2 games, and has completed 90 minutes twice. They sold him for 40 million quid, right? We need to be at that. We should be at that stage. This is not something that's going to happen overnight, of course. This is something that's going to happen 5 years, 6 years down the line where we can get to a situation like that. So, on this window, though, disappointing. I don't know how we can go anything higher than a 5. We're one defender we're one injury away from going back to having Davison Sanchez and Van der Ven / Romero. We're two injuries away at the back where we could end up having a defense of Royale, Sanchez. Do you know what I mean? We're at a situation we lose two centre halves. What did we do? Eric Dyer's not getting registered, so we get a young kid in Ashley Phillips and Davinson Sanchez. So you have to look at it on that. Bear in mind, by the way, we've signed some good players, so I'll flip it. James Maddison, great signing. I like Vicario. I actually like Solomon as a signing. I think it's a good bit of business. So you have to flip it. Van der Ven, another one. I love Van der Ven, a great signing. So on the signings that we've got, very good. But we're a bit bottom heavy, right? We're bottom heavy. We've got very lacking cover at the back. For me, we went too late because I saw last night I was at a wedding, so I missed deadline day with a
you didn't miss anything anyway.
Well, at a venue that had very limited internet, so I had no knowledge. I came out of the wedding and I got the "Here We Go" of Brennan Johnson out of the chapel at the church. And but the bit for me though was the key bit for me is we went way too late on the Trevor Chalobah loan. I think we could have got that done with Chelsea. We went way too late on that. That should have been done 2 days ago. Wouldn't have an issue with that. Short-term loan to just get us over the line for a year. We've got a big change problem at the moment. We're struggling.
I don't think we would have got Trevor Chalobah.
He's just an example, but go and get someone short-term is my point. If you need to just get a short-term centre-half that fits the mould that we need, that we can just at least then it gives us 12 months to go, do you know what? We're going to properly identify the players that we need next summer.
The thing is, I've been speaking about the need for centre-back since Toby and Jan left for the last 3 years. And, the club, for whatever reason, it takes them quite some time to get in centre-halves at this football club. The warning signs were there last year. We conceded the most goals we've ever conceded in a Premier League season, the worst defence ever. And yes, they went to some strides to fix it by bringing in Vicario, by bringing in Van der Ven. But the whole world knew we needed more than one centre-back. So the fact that we were even sitting there on deadline day, pissing about, looking for a centre-back, and the likes of Lloyd Kelly and Trevor Chalobah come up, I get we were looking at homegrown players, I get it. But, there's other targets we could have went after. And the fact that we left it that late, that's on us. That's poor planning. They knew coming into the state, they knew since Ange Postecoglou, before he even started, he had a transfer meeting with the club and told him exactly what he wants, in the door. When he was interviewed for the job, he would have put a big presentation together, a full plan, style of play, philosophy, what players he can and can't use. After Van der Ven, he said he wanted another centre-back in here. And we didn't do it. And it's absolutely failure on the club's behalf. We've seen Tuesday night. You take one of them guys out, you just bring in Davinson Sanchez, it goes to pot. You take a Doji out, you bring in Ben Davies, it'll go to pot. And it also disrupts your playing style. We've got players there that have proven time and time again, that regardless of the manager, regardless whether it's Conte's or Postecoglou's, two complete extreme ends, they cannot play that system. They can't play anyway. And the fact that we're sitting here making Ange Postecoglou's job tough, if and when injuries do or suspensions do happen, I just don't understand it. For me, it's about, they managed to swing the pendulum from the toxicity of, which we'll get into, from the toxicity of Conte back to positivity. And then they still fail to go in after the window. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, look, window's over now, it's grand, they're going to go anyway. The damage is already done. The reason why we didn't get players in here anyway is because they wouldn't leave. So regardless whether they were still here and we end up paying them off now, the damage is already done. The impact has already happened. So I'm pissed off in that regard. To sell Harry Kane and create another problem up front that didn't need to be created this summer, I'm pissed off with that. Look, I agree with Percher. I think the signings we made, very, very good signings. But we didn't do enough. We should never have put Postecoglou in a position where he has to bring the whole squad on pre-season. Should never have happened. We should have got onto Hugo Lloris's contract. The minute he said at the end of last season, I'm leaving, we should have got onto his contract straight away and looked to pay him up. We've got Dyer 1 year left on his contract. Should have got onto him with all the mistakes and everything else he made last year. Should have got onto him straight away and paid up that last year of his contract. so that we weren't doing it to last minute deadline there. But the reason why we were is because Daniel Levy is holding out for a fee, and he didn't want to shell out money to pay these guys off. And for me, it's come back to haunt us. Look, time will tell, but I've been around this block before where what we haven't done has come back to haunt us. I get we couldn't do everything in one window, but we could have put ourselves in a lot better position than what we currently are.
I think when we talk about the contract situation, it's a real interesting one about just getting rid and stuff like that. Problem is we can't. In the simplistic terms, it's great. The problem what you've now got is you've got 3 players now that won't be registered. Now it's the question is what do you do? Do you sit there? The likes of Eric Dyer, the likes of Lloris, the likes of Ndombele now, what are you doing? What are we doing with them? Because the problem is now is you can't tell them to stay at home. They have to oblige contractually what they need to do. They have to report in for training, regardless. What do you do with them? They're in training. Do you put them with the under 23s? Not for me. Don't let them anywhere near our academy. Don't let them anywhere near our academy. Then what do? You isolate them. Isolate them completely from everyone else and make them train on their own. Possible. The third one is do you pay them up? If you pay them up, what you're doing is all you're doing is you're giving them a free pass to get out of it. Pay up your money. What do? Do you take this sucker punch on it? This is the decisions now that, unfortunately, the problems of this football club are amounting to now. In the sense, we are going through the motions of it. Players don't want to leave us because they're comfortable here. Money's good. Money's good. We pay good wages, whether people like it or not. We pay good wages to these people. They're sitting there going, I don't need to get a pay cut. I'll just sit and wait up. You guys deal with it. And Ndombele sitting back at 200 grand a week going, I'll turn up for training. You lot figure it out. This is the problem we're at now. And listen, for me, I don't know what you can do about it. It's a tough one. It's simple to go pay it up, but that hits your balance sheet. I hate talking about it, but it hits your balance sheet immediately, and that could impact January. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Look, 100%. I get that, but for me, I'm willing to take that hit. I'll be brutally honest. I'm willing to take that hit. I really am. For me, it's just
do you do it, Dave? Do you do it right now, or do you wait until all of the other transfer windows close? That's the other question you ask yourself.
Look, we know Daniel Levy's hoping that Turkey come in. You know, they're open till the 15th. You know that
Saudis as well. Saudis are still going for another 2 weeks as well. So listen, I think that you've got what you don't want to do theorize is what you don't want to do is you don't want to pay up someone's contract. Let's just say 10 million quid. Put that into their bank account. They get a nice fat check of 10 million quid. And then 2 days later, they go and sign for Al Ittihad or Galatasaray or Fenerbahce. That's what you don't want, right? Because that is just you just paid out someone to go for free somewhere else. So that's the other concern is what we're gonna have to face.
The thing is, right? The club knows that we needed more defenders. There's no shying away from that. The fact we were, like you said, panicking to try and get Trevor Chalobah in 2 hours before the window ended, and a couple of others like Lloyd Kelly. We were then talking about Pershers the day before, and the other thing that annoys me about this, and people like I get to an extent why you can't get rid of some of these players because no one wants them and no one wants to pay their wages. I get that. But there was a couple of bids for these players. We are forgetting that. Davinson Sanchez,
the players don't want to go, mate. That's the problem.
4 teams came in for him. Galatasaray.
The players don't want to go because these teams can't afford to pay what we're paying them. So the players sit back going, I want my money. I'm not going getting a pay cut here.
I do understand that. I completely understand. But what I'm saying is, if we could somehow get to a stage where we have to offload some of these players at some point. I get what you're saying. Like they can just sit back. I get your example. Then Ndombele, they can just sit back and get 200k. But this is a result of poor planning over the years, not just. This window.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
No, I agree. This is all poor planning, right? We've given massive contracts to very, very average football players, mercenaries, if you want to call them that as well. They don't care. And Ndombele doesn't care. He's as I said, he turns up, does his training, goes home. 200 grand a week. The problem what we have is where the Premier League's become, everyone else is down here. So the Premier League, we can offer 200 grand a week to a player, but the likes of teams in Italy, Turkey, France, Spain can't do that.
Yeah.
And Ndombele's on the contract that he's not on that, but on a quality of a Lewandowski style player where they're big players. No team in Europe is paying Ndombele 200 grand a week because he's not good enough. That's the problem. We either basically say to a club, we'll say, look, we will pay 80% of his wages until his contract runs out and you can sign him. This is the issue we're at, and no one knows what the right thing to do is.
But just quickly going back to the Davinson Sanchez one, sorry. Obviously, we got bids from clubs, and there was I can't remember which one. It was like a couple of months ago, and they'd met the asking price. I think it was one of the Turkish clubs, or I can't remember exactly which one. It was ages ago. But the point is, we accepted a bid, right? And then I think it got to a stage where we were like in pre-season, we were like, we haven't got the depth in defence. Actually, we can't let Davinson Sanchez go because suddenly he's above Dyer in the pecking order, and oh no, we can't let them go. But actually, we're choosing between Dumb and Dumber here in Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer. Yeah. So we're like, oh shit, we'll keep them actually because we haven't got other defenders. Tosin Adarabioyo, we're not having much luck signing him. Again, another problem. We didn't sign enough depth. Do you see what I mean?
We don't. But James, if we want them, if we go after them with enough gusto, we get them. We just don't. We piss about. You know, it's sort of like we've signed Van der Ven, so we go after the likes of Adarabioyo, going in there already going, well, he's only a backup, so we're only going to pay this, that, and the other. Whereas what you should be doing is going in like he's not a backup, he's a squad player. You know, he's going to play 20, you know, once you get back into Europe, they're going to play 20 odd games a season. So for me, you know, it's about going after them with enough gusto. But for some reason, this football club don't want to go after centre-backs. It's been a long outstanding issue since Toby and Jan, despite the amount of crap we've seen across the back line. Sanchez can't deal with balls over his head. He can't tackle, he can't pass the ball. Same with Dyer, same with Davies, people like that. And the only permanent solutions we've done, one was Joe Rodon under Jose Mourinho, which quite frankly is embarrassing. And then, you know, you got Joe Rodon, you got Christian Romero and now Van der Ven. We haven't done anywhere near enough over 4 years, over 3-4 years to sort. It's obvious. And there's no excuse for Daniel Levy. The guy sits there at every home game watching it. He sees it. There's no excuse not to have it done. You know, and the sad reality is what came back to haunt Jose Mourinho? The back line. What came back to haunt Conte? The back line. Because even when we were doing well under him, the back line we still had problems with it, and then it all came to fruition. What's going to come back? And well, I hope it doesn't come back to haunt Ange Postecoglou. My only hope is that even if he does get an injury, he pulls up a Dorrington, he pulls up an Ashley Phillips. I'm at the point, I don't care what age they are. They have to be better than what we're currently seeing. And that's just...
I think it's... Yeah, you go, mate.
I was just going to say your point on Alfie Dorrington, by the way. I don't want to go off on a tangent talking about the transfer window, but genuinely, I've watched Alfie Dorrington many times. I think I've lagged. I think I just lagged. Sorry, lads.
No, you're right.
I'm back. Yeah, Alfie Dorrington's genuinely a more competent centre-back than Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez. If you watch him play, he can play Ange ball better than those two combined. Genuinely.
I've been saying for years to get him up. Not for years, since last year.
I think the key bit here is this is the part. I do agree here, like to a certain extent at the moment. I do agree. I think me and Coover had a really good conversation about it. So do you know what? Why not? What have we got to lose, right? What are we going to lose? What have we got to lose right now? We might as well get the likes of Phillips in. If Dorrington's the one, get him involved. Like, get Belize involved into the first team now. Start integrating these players. Even if they're just sitting on the bench, I'd rather them just be sat on the bench with a bit of some opportunities. Because at the moment, Davinson Sanchez worries the hell out of me. Emerson Royale worries the hell out of me. These players aren't good enough, good football players. We work down the forward line. Bear in mind, Richarlison worries me. Don't score goals. Like, you look at what happens if we lose a couple of players in midfield. We've got Højbjerg and Skip going back in. Worries me. The Celso at 10 worries me. And there's so many other... The drop-off from what I would say our strongest 11 to what could be our weakest 11 is night and day. It's not...
You saw that on Tuesday. You saw that on Tuesday.
Bang on. And what happened? We had the only real the only player really from the first 11 or two in the first 7 that played was Van der Ven, and then a striker that doesn't score goals for the team, right? And so that terrifies me, right? Like he didn't, and that's why I was really irritated with the manager on Tuesday, because I sat back and went, you go on and talk about wanting to win competitions and winning games if it's in a car park or on a rooftop, blah blah blah. But then you went and played these rubbish football players and got us stomped out of a cup, right? And
Well, I think he had to find out they were rubbish, didn't he?
But don't do it in a knockout competition, right?
Well, when could he have done it? One of the first 3 Premier League games when he's trying to sort out his first 11.
Sora made a great point.
2 days before the transfer window, that was his last chance to see him. Why shouldn't he play whatever 11 players? I thought. But then
we do that, and now we're out of one of 2 potential trophies.
That's right.
And
so would you have done it against Bournemouth or Manchester United?
No, I wouldn't. I would have played the first 11.
Right.
I would have played the first 11 because. What excuse have we got for playing a weakened side? What excuse this season?
I think one thing we hugely miss when it comes to that is, I think when you look at it, right, over pre-season, a lot of them guys that played the second half of games in pre-season, many fans said the second half team looked better than the first half. Many fans said it was Conte's fault. Look at these guys, they're playing football. Ollie Skip, for instance, scored 2 against Barcelona, right? Now, it could be very well a case that they're also doing it in training. And based on what Ange Postecoglou has seen on preseason, I can understand why he made the changes. But what everyone misses is what Antonio Conte told us. Whether we like him or not, you have to take heed to this. He said they don't want to play under any pressure. So is there any surprise? You look at them in preseason, they look half good, they look okay. And many people said they did as well. And then all of a sudden, as soon as there's something on the line where it's a win or lose scenario, they can't perform. They get stage fright.
But Dave, on that point, I want to pull up that point. This is the bit that I get that. Listen, the Conte thing, I couldn't stand him. No, I couldn't stand him. He was awful picture. I agree with you. Like, there's certain these players, but you're right in that. My concern is the manager. I love him, by the way. And people in the chat saying back him. Yeah, I do. I want the manager to stay at this football club. This isn't about that. I love Ange Postecoglou. But it also means I can be critical of him. Let's be fair with that. That's the point one. Because I'm seeing people go, backhand. Yeah, I am. But I'm sorry. Half time, I sat back. I think we all watched that game at half time. Went, change it. It hasn't worked. We got battered first half. We should have been 3-0 down. If anything, if we were lucky to be 1-0 down, but you go at 1-0 down, you go, we're still in the game. Make 4 wholesale changes. Get Maddison on the pitch straight away. Go and make a change in midfield by bringing in Basuma, Sarr, and then go and throw in Romero at centre half or whatever. Whatever system you want to change it to, I don't care. Bring on 4 main players. It was Son, sorry. Bring Son up top. Get off either Solomon or Richarlison. No, get Richarlison off. Put Son down the middle and just change that midfield and go attacking again, and we'd have probably gone and won the game. What did he do? He brought Dane Scarlett on, and then loaned him out 3 days later. Do you know what I mean? Not again. I'm not blaming the manager. By the way,
it served the purpose, didn't it? We wanted to have a look at it.
It served the.
I mean, look, we can all be a football manager and say ifs and buts,
but it served the purpose that we're out of the Carabao Cup in the second round.
Yeah, well, there you go. You know, I think Ange is looking more to the future than just the League Cup. I want a manager that wants to win trophies. It was 2 days before the transfer window ended. That was his last chance to have a look at some of the players. And okay, we went out of the League Cup, but now Ange has learned a lot about what players can do what he wants and what players can't. And maybe it's not a bad time to find out sooner rather than later.
So from that theory, then we're now saying that, oh, it doesn't matter. It's the Carabao Cup. Like, for me, as a football club that doesn't win anything.
You can say that.
No. I'm not saying you did. I'm not suggesting that. But my point being is when we just go, oh, well, he needs to look at it. For me, at the moment, we have no excuses. You could even argue Conte and Mourinho had excuses for playing weak inside in the Cups because we're in Europe. There was no excuse, really. We're playing 1 game a week.
let me ask you,
he hasn't looked at the whole squad then, has he? He hasn't managed to look at the whole squad before the transfer window closed.
But if this, hear me out. If this was any other manager, that changed a winning team and just completely shuffled the cards and went, there you go, there's my 11 this time, we'd all be going, what are you doing?
Well, when were we last in a cup in August, though?
Huh?
So it doesn't apply, does it?
Well, I don't get what you mean, but that's not my point.
Well, we're in the cup early this year because we missed out on Europe.
But that's only because we're not.
When was the last time we played a cup? Well, hang on. When was the last time we played a cup game when the window was open? Different circumstance.
When the last time we weren't in Europe?
Right, how long ago was that? It's bloody years ago.
Yeah, but that's my point, though, right? Other managers have an excuse. And by the way, they don't have an excuse, but you could.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have an excuse. Ange does. It's different.
How?
Because the window's still open, man.
But we're playing one game a week. What reason? But why are we wanting to play? But why do we want to play? Why don't we want to go out there and go, do you know what? Because this comments doesn't. And by the way, I'm not. This is not me having a go at the managers. This is just being critical. It's critical thinking. For me, I sit back and go, I wanted to win the Carabao Cup or at least progress in it, right? I think we will do it. I think that's in fairness, right? We're now out of it, and that for me puts a marker going. I'm not, and by the way, I'm not suggesting this, but it puts a marker going. He's not really taking it seriously. I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm not saying it, but
like Ange said when Ange said in the press conference, these are his words. He said, "Well, when else do I get a chance to look at these players?" So you're saying, don't look at your whole squad before the window ends. I think that would be derelict of duty. They're all Tottenham players.
I'm so done with some of these players, man. We've seen him.
I know
year after year.
You have, but he hasn't. He hasn't seen him, man. And like you can say, oh, everyone knows. Well, everyone doesn't know. Some fans think that Lo Celso's good. Some think he's crap. There's even fans out there that think Eric Dyer's good. You know. So what fans should Ange listen to? The answer is absolutely none of them.
Eric Dyer?
Needs to make up his own mind
anymore.
Look, what I will say,
if Ange went on history, we wouldn't be playing Basuma or Sarr this year. So he's gone and looked at them himself, and look where we've ended up. It's great.
Okay, okay. From that basis though, but looking at that game though, from that basis though, I don't expect him to be picking those players again, right?
He should. Yeah. Look, what I will say is just quickly, I think we are in danger of making the same mistakes we've made before. You know, over the summer, you know, or even last season, I warned people, you know, you call for Conte's head now, you'll call for Ange Postecoglou. Everyone assured me, no, we understand it's going to take time. It's going to be a rebuild, this, that, and the other. And there's going to be, you know, forks in the road that we have to sort of navigate. Now, first sign of trouble on Tuesday night, everyone goes for Ange Postecoglou's head. But let's not pretend we haven't gone out of the cups at the first time of asking under Conte, under Joe, you know, under Mourinho, under Pochettino at some time in the domestic cups. This is a problem that outspans the manager. And I was so shocked to see everyone go and question the manager on Tuesday night and not actually question players who were actually given the opportunity to perform, put their hands up, and with a chance to stay at Tottenham Hotspur. People forget these players, some of them want out because they're not a part of the first 11.
Last chance saloon, man.
Put their hand up, you know, to try and get away into his team. And they didn't take, I don't think that's spoken about enough.
No, it was the last chance saloon for a lot of those players, and they all let, pretty much all of them, they all let Ange down. So, you know, what's Ange to do? We played a high tempo game 3 days beforehand, and so what? He's not entitled to pick Tottenham Hotspur players because, you know, when that lineup came out, I thought, oh yeah, that was the B team. I was one of those people that thought they did all right. So I can't then after the match say, Ange, you know,
when we say B,
hang on. Yeah, I've nearly finished. All right. So, so isn't he entitled to see them in the heat of battle? His last chance to see them before the transfer window opens. You know, this is a long project. It's not going to be done all in this one window. And I'm happy with the way he's going. Paul, I don't think it's black mark against his name or anything, or sacrifice in a cup.
Paul, do you know what?
James, go on, and then we'll let Perchy back, and then have some super chats that we want to talk about, and then we'll get back to more. Go on, James.
Can I just quickly say I get both these sides. I'm not sitting on the fence. I'm not just going to sit on the fence on this. But what I'm saying is, But what I'm saying is, Paul, to an extent, is right. Ange had the opportunity to go to these players. Look, you're not in my first team, but go out there and get us through in this cup and show me what you're made of and show me that you can be a first team player. Then you've got the point where they fuck up. They're awful, right? But Ange should have made changes earlier in that game.
Agreed.
He should have brought on Maddison at halftime. He should have brought on Son earlier. And they didn't have a chance to make an impact. I think Maddison came on in the 78th minute. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And James, did you see when Maddison came on, we were a completely different football team.
Yeah.
We were a completely different team as soon as he came on. And that's my gripe. And listen, this is not me having to go at the manager. But my point listen, if he'd have gone at halftime and completely gone, do you know what? I've tried it. I can't do these anymore. I'm going to get 5 wholesale changes, 4 wholesale changes on and completely change it. And then listen, we may or may not still been in it, but at least he'd given it a go and gone and changed it. I was just very frustrated that he didn't make those changes. Listen, no, but now...
But I mean, you know, this is like... So are you saying you're a better football manager than Ange Postecoglou?
No. When have I said that?
Well, then what you're saying doesn't mean anything.
So from that theory, then I can't be critical about anything. Are you a better football player than Eric Dyer? Then you can't.
I am.
Debate
Honestly, I am. Put me up. I'm better than Eric Dyer.
5 minutes out.
From that logic, we might as well just shut up shop and stop debating football if we can't have that opinion, right? Like my theory here is I can't be a hypocrite. I criticise Jose, I criticise Conte, and I criticise all the other managers that took these tournaments. Pochettino was massively critical of not taking these tournaments seriously. I can't be a hypocrite and go, I was okay with that, because then that just makes me a hypocrite, right? I can't be. I've got to be balanced, and I've got to say it how it is.
Maybe at half time he gave him a good bollocking and he said, right, you've got 10 more minutes. And they went, okay, boss. And they went out with shit again. And then he started making changes.
But the changes were too late, Paul. You've got to admit.
They're way too late.
Minute, mate. We've got 10. What? So you're going to take 10 minutes for Maddison to suddenly score a goal?
I think
maybe Ange learnt more in that extra 5 minutes than you'll ever know. I trust
I hope so, because I hope he doesn't play those players again.
Look,
well,
I hope so.
I think what Paul's trying to say is you look at the likes of Man United, Bournemouth, Brentford, or well, not Bournemouth, but Man United, Brentford, right? The second half was much better than the first half after he's had a conversation with them. And Tottenham, over the last year or so, has been a second half team. We do better in the second half than we do the first half. So I can understand the thinking, but for leaving it a little bit. However, 10 minutes in, 10 minutes in. Me personally, maybe I'm a bit old school, but I would have been like, look, you've got 5 minutes to show me you shouldn't be taken off. And then I'd make changes. I can accept maybe some of the changes were maybe a bit too late to maybe have the desired impact. However, I'm not going to criticize them for making the 9 changes because, a lot of these players perform preseason. A lot of these players, were given an opportunity to show their hand to see if they want to be a part of this new project, new Tottenham going forward. And they didn't take it yet again. And yet they'd sit there and bitch, they moan, they cry and everything else why they don't get playing time. And that's prime example, same as the last couple of years. But look, we're gonna move on from that because we're going around the houses now when it comes to this.
I'll just end it on this. The only thing for me is I'll end it on this. Is the only bit I wanted is if he hadn't and we'd gone and won the game, the feel good atmosphere, you wouldn't have this. Listen, people call me negative.
Just start it up again. Let's move on, man.
I'm just saying. It's like we just
what are you on about?
Move on.
Look.
Pre-match pump up. Come on, you Spurs. Come on.
I'm in
a good mood.
I like these conversations, because you get to hear things from both sides, and I like it. I think it's a good debate, but. Let's move on. We got a couple of super chats and then we'll move on into some other talking points. But it's good to have these sort of conversations. Dark Sun G says Korea faces Wales and Saudi, I think. Dyer wants FA, F all. Sad. Look, when Wales, be a tough game for you. Saudi Arabia, you probably should beat, although they did beat Argentina at the World Cup, to be fair. Look, with Dyer, I've always said the guy prefers his bank account over football ambition, and that's come to fruition, my man. Big up, Dark Sun G, brother. He also says Tanguy doesn't want to play football when it's his job. And this is the thing, the fact that the guy hasn't completed 90 minutes in over a year, 2 years of worth of football. It's actually embarrassing for a professional athlete. Yet he's given opportunities to go elsewhere to different clubs and he doesn't take it again, shows that he cares more about the money, and that's what he's in the game for, rather than football in ambition. But look, Tottenham can't escape criticism for this because we didn't do our homework enough into someone like Ndombele. If we did, we would have realised he's had fitness issues all of his career. We handed Dyer a new contract when he didn't warrant it, when he didn't deserve it. So as much as I blame these guys, the club also put us in this position as well. But big up Dark Song G, brother. It's sad. And do you know what the saddest thing about Ndombele is? He's more talent in his little toe than most of our squad put together. However, he just chooses not to use it, my man. And that's the sad thing about it. He says former captain Lloris doesn't leave to play backup. Again, late last night, had a chance to leave, go back to France, go to Nice. After they released Kasper Schmeichel, again, didn't take it. And this is a guy that quit on us against Newcastle at halftime last season, a guy that made it clear he doesn't want to be here, but yet doesn't want to leave to sign on anywhere. Work that one out. Look, I don't know what his game is, Hugo Lloris is. But again, it's an absolute joke that any of these guys are still here, Dark Sun G. An absolute joke, you know, with the trouble that was caused last season between some of these guys. They should have been out the door early summer on instead of sitting here tolerating this and letting. Because, you know, another thing, just quickly, you know, I was told, Stella Harry Kane, no one's bigger than this football club. Oh, okay. It seems like Ndombele is, Dyer is, and Hugo Lloris is. Where's the same energy then towards them guys? The same, you know, show the same energy towards them guys. No one's bigger than the club. Let's get them out of here. And he also says, in my opinion, I'd rather test and get out of Carabao Cup than the FA Cup. Paul, go on. I'll let you in on this one, and then we are going to move on from this topic altogether.
No, I've got a good feeling about the FA Cup. I think Dark Sanji is right. I think it was just a badly timed fixture for us. You know, that's what it comes down to. So onwards and upwards, man. The double's still on, you know.
There we go. There's the positivity from this pre-match pump up from Paul there. It got too dark for half an hour.
This isn't the pump up. The pump up's on We Are Top TV. This is the build up, so we can sway either side with the opinions. But look, Dark Sun G,
don't give me this. I'm being delusional, because if you're any sort of football fan that's ever watched the game and ended up shouting at the TV, you're delusional at some point. That's all I have to say.
We're Tottenham fans. Yeah. We've been roped into this for one reason or the other, and we're all mental. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm more delusional than all of you anyway, so that's all that matters. But look, when it comes to the FA Cup, my man, I mean, Ange Postecoglou did speak about the memories of watching it with his father, this, that, and the other. So I do think, you know, he's going to want to go all out for that. Look, the Carabao Cup, look, I can understand why he done what he done. It backfired, and I think, look, whether we're happy about it or not, we just got to move on. We've got Burnley today, you know, and then we've got Sheffield, and then we've got Arsenal, Liverpool coming up. So we've got bigger fish to fry, as the famous saying goes. And then big up, Ellie, big up Dark Sun Gino, brother. Really appreciate the support. The games against Saudi and Wales, though, are they home or away? Let me know. Let me know if you're traveling, brother. And then Ellie says, football was played with with great expression when I started watching footy. Now it's pass, bloody pass, as many teams are coach possession-based football, not expressive football, or take a player on. Do you know what? On this one, I agree, Ellie. I've said this for quite some time. I think this sort of skill is being coached out of players, and you see it now when there's games in the balance the last 5-10 minutes. No one really has. They don't really know what to do unless they're told what to do from the sidelines. There's no sort of thinking anymore. And that's why you don't see the likes of the Mavericks like a JJ Okocha, Ronaldinho, you know, people like that anymore, because they're not taught to take the risks. In my day, when I grew up watching football, if you didn't get at your fullback, drive on, look to take them on, look to create something, you'd be hauled off and sat on the bench beside the manager. Now it's the other way around. If you do dare to do that, you'll be sat on the bench by the manager. It's absolutely changed 100%. I couldn't agree more. Look, we'll go around the houses on this one, Paul. We'll let you have a say, and we'll get James and Perchy in on this as well, and then we'll move on.
I think generally that's true, and it's probably why I don't watch as much football as I used to years ago. But I am excited about Maddison, Sarr, and Basuma, because they are running around taking players on. Anu Doggy, Porro. You know, we've got a team of players that are not being frightened to express themselves with the football, and it's exciting stuff.
For sure. James, what's your thoughts on it, my man?
Mate, when you just mentioned Ronaldinho, I was just I was just having a little daydream about him. That guy, what a player! He's my favourite ever player, Ronaldinho. And because he's exciting to watch, you never know what's going to come. He's going to do a rainbow flick. He's going to try and nutmeg someone. When do we get that in football now? So I agree with Paul. To an extent, football's become a little bit, not less interesting, but a little bit less exciting to that extent. But there's other sides of the game that have developed and have become better in the modern day. But yeah, I agree with his point, with Paul's point as well. We have some players that take him on. Look at Basuma doing these ridiculous like little flicks around players, exciting.
Man.
But then you go back to our squad and then you've got Ollie Skip that likes to play it sideways and backwards like Mr. Harry Winks. So you just got a bit of both in this squad, really. And you've got to enjoy the exciting players while you can.
You have to try to, I suppose. You have to try to. And Perchy, where are you at with it? Do you agree with the sentiment?
To a certain, no, I agree with it. I think the game has changed massively. It's all system based now. It's all about playing a system and it's why now we don't really see incredible number 9s, right? Like Harry Kane and the likes of like Haaland's is probably the exception to the rule now, right? Harry Kane's one of the dying breeds of a number 9. You don't really see him anymore. There's not many. You could count on your hand 5 of the best number 9s in the world, right? There's not many that go and score goal after goal because it's all system based. It's all about collecting goals around together. So yeah, I agree. It's different. I do love I don't know. I like it though. I love watching like Man City play. I think they play some amazing football. And people tell me that they're boring to watch. But I'm like,
no,
it doesn't look. I don't think it's boring. I think they're absolutely incredible. And they're a proper system-based team. Their team is based on a system, and they will stick with it no matter what.
Perchy, you're right though. There is a dying breed of number 9s. Like we're lucky we still have one in Richarlison.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's incredible when you think about it. Richarlison. Can I just put it out there? Do you guys know how many teams he scored against for Spurs? Just a number.
Well, he scored 1 this season. Well, that's for Fulham. He scored 2 against Marseille, and he scored 1. So 3. I got 3. Yeah,
3. Marseille, Liverpool, Fulham. Let that sink in. If he doesn't score today, he averages 1 in 10.
You know, I'll just pull this stat out of my arse because you know we're quite used to it. We're sort of dependent on Harry Kane getting all our goals and bailing us out. Last year, Celtic scored 114 goals. They conceded 34 for a goal difference of 80. And out of those 114 goals, Kyogo Furuhashi, who's a great centre forward, scored only 27. So, you know, hopefully Richarlison will come good, but we're going to see hopefully 80 odd goals over this season come from players that aren't a centre forward. We're not as dependent as we were. So he's got time. He's got less pressure.
But Paul,
I agree with that. But you can't have your number 9 not getting goals. That's the only key one. I agree with you. We're going to get goals elsewhere, and you're looking at it. You're looking at our midfielders are getting goals. You're seeing Kulusevski scored against Man. He scored against Man United. Bournemouth. But you're seeing goals come elsewhere. You're seeing the likes of goals. Central Romero scored in the opening day as well, didn't he? So you're seeing that, but you can't get down to the end of it with your goal, your striker not scoring goals. Whether we like it or not, your goal. What you have to do is if he's not scoring goals, he's got to do something, right? You want to see him getting involved in play. I feel like he doesn't do much.
He does get involved for Richarlison. He gets yellow cards, mate, and makes stupid fouls.
Yeah. Someone said to me, someone made a great point. He went, "Oh, what's Richarlison's best attribute right now?" And I had to sit and think. I went, "It's falling on the floor, isn't it?
Aggression,
trying to win I'm worried though. I'm worried that we didn't go in again. I'm hoping, touching wood, that Brennan Johnson comes good because I want him to come in and just, you know what, dispel it, change it about a bit, maybe put Son down the middle because I think Son's a key one here. I think if you can unlock the right position for Son, I think he gets a little bit lost out on that left-hand side. I think if you put him more, when he goes centrally, I look and go, I like what you're doing here. I like a lot of what Son does down the middle. I find him on the left, gets a bit lost in the game. When he's down the middle, and I think you might start seeing Johnson out on the left, Kulusevski on the right, Son down the middle. I think you might start seeing.
All you have to look at all you have to look at is that Leicester game last year where Son came on and he was basically up front. Cut him from the right, he cut him from the left. He kept putting him top left, top right, scored 3 in 10 minutes. Bang. Since then, we've not really played him in that position because obviously
I
Harry
agree.
Kane's in there, right?
Well,
So
whenever we saw Son, when he changed it up and brought Richarlison off and put Perisic out on that left-hand side, I just thought Son offered so much more to the team than he did when he was playing out on the left.
it's because he can't beat a man. He used to in his earlier days, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's not a one-on-one winger anymore. He really isn't. So he doesn't beat a man and put it in the box. He sort of tries and plays a 1-2 or plays off the shoulder. So
he's a bit more he's unpredictable down the middle. That's the difference, isn't it? He's so predictable on the left. So down the middle, you're not sure which way he's going to go. If he's going to drop in deep or if he's going to try and get in behind or whatever.
Yeah, look, I think ultimately that's going to have to be the long-term solution. You can't have the ball coming into Richarlison and it breaks down at his feet every time, because what it's going to do is have a knock-on effect. You'll have players who don't want to start running back later in games. They will not pass the ball to him. I don't care if people say, oh, Dave's professional, it won't happen. It does happen. It will happen. People will stop passing the ball to him if he keeps losing it because they don't want to be tracking back all the time. But also, the ball, every time the ball breaks down at his feet, it's just coming back at us. And we can't have that, in order to be dominant the way Ange Postecoglou wants and sit in the opposition half for long periods of the game. Richarlison has to get his first touch right. He has to be able to lay it off. He has to be able to link up with people. Look, as a squad player behind Harry Kane, he was a good option because you could put the ball in the box and let him go and head it. But now he's at the point where he's the main man. He has to offer a lot more in regards of up front. And I do think long-term solution will be Son moved in there. Kulu. Look at Son moved in there against United when he got the second goal off him laying it off out to Maddison. You look against Bournemouth, Son went in there. We got the second goal because Udogie done a 1-2 with and put the ball in the box. Kulu ended up burying it. So, for me, Richarlison has to offer a hell of a lot more. Dermotron says, big up, guys. Spurs win today in Ange we trust. Big up, Dermo. Hopefully you're keeping well on this fine Saturday morning, my man. And hopefully we do get the win so that we can get back to happier times, my man. Big yourself up and big up, Ellie. Really appreciate the support, guys. And then Dark Sung G says, we play Wales and Saudi in Europe. Son versus Johnson, Mr. 33. That'll definitely be an interesting watch, Dark Sun G, my man. I believe Brennan Johnson sometimes plays down the middle, though, for Wales, though. So it'll be interesting to see sort of how that comes about, who walks away with the headlines. I'm sure Sonny won't want to be upstaged, lad. And he also says, when Ben returns in Jan, skip, sell, up here, Mahoyberg. Look, with Bentancur, I think it is going to take a while for him to sort of get back to the play and where he was at before his injury. It's a long-term injury. Even when he gets back fit, it's getting back to control, the weight of the passing, the motion of striking the ball, etc. All that will have to come back as well. But when he comes back, I mean, it throws up an absolute fantastic headache for me, because you've got Maddison who ain't coming out of the team because he's vice captain and he's our most creative player. You can't take Massoum out of the six because of the good job he does there. And Papa Sarr is going from strength to strength right now. What I will say is, though, in January, with the AFCON coming up, there will be opportunities there for Bentancur to get back in and stake his place. Yeah. If I'm Rodrigo Bentancur, I'm looking at that period and I'm going to make sure I'm fully fit, back to my best for that period to get back in the team. But when he does come back, look, with Skip, I argue we should have known about this. So I said last season, there's so many flaws to his game. He can't pass a ball. He's not as good defensively as people make him out to be. And that he has to get to a certain level if he wants to get in this midfield. Everyone told me I'm being crazy, deluded, harsh, this, that, and the other. Yeah. Well, now we're at that point. He's got to be better than Bentancur to get in the team. He's got to be better than Sarr to get in the team. He has to be better than Bassoum to get in the team. And he has to be better than Maddison to get in the team. So he has to go and develop his all-round midfield game. He's nowhere near the level of any of them guys. And I said at the time, if he doesn't do it, his career is going to take a similar pathway to Harry Winks at Tottenham Hotspur, where before you know it, he's going to be 25, 26, 27, hasn't really made an impact on the world of football, and all of a sudden, he's nearly 30 and his career is wasting him by. So if I'm on his skip right now, I'm looking at it. I'm either going to go and dedicate myself every single day of the week to get better and up my technical abilities, or I'm going to push for a loan move out of this football club so that I can go and play week in, week out to develop my game. But there will have to be a decision made on Skip next summer, in my opinion. We'll go around the houses on this one. We'll start with you, Paul, and work around. What do you think will happen with Skip? Because, look, we just got to be honest. He ain't up to the standard. Can Ange drag him up to that standard, Paul? Do you think Ange can make him a better player, first of all?
Well, Ange can make players better, but I'm just not seeing it from Skip. You know, last game he was dreadful. He was behaving like he thought he was Roy Keane, trying to stamp over everyone. He got a yellow card and it was well deserved. And I've seen Skip do that before. I heard people describe that Ramiro's reckless. Well, no, I think Ramiro is not reckless. Oliver Skip is, and I think get him out on loan. I suppose he's a homegrown player, but he just doesn't add anything to the team. There's others above the pecking order. Well, there's Højbjerg at the moment, isn't there? And then Bentancur when he's back. So Skip dropped down further. Yeah. Time to go. Underwhelming every time.
I agree with that. Very underwhelming. James, where are you at with it, my man?
I've never been a massive Ollie Skip fan. I'll be deadly honest. I think, like you said,
do you not have his jersey?
Yeah, let me go and get it. Like you said, Dave. He's showing signs his career could go down the path of a Harry Winks. They're similar players in terms of what they do. A lot of sideways, backwards, sort of try and be aggressive and then make a foul that's just silly. But then when he played against Barcelona, people were photoshopping his head on Iniesta's face. So, I mean, what can I say? I mean, that's his fan base. We get way ahead of ourselves for stuff that we shouldn't. But Ollie Skip is the definition of a upper championship level, lower Premier League team centre mid, in my opinion.
There's some sort of deluded cult out there that I'm not a part of. That's wrong. But anyway, Perchy, where are you at with Ollie Skip's career?
Yeah, no, Skip for me at the moment. Yeah, I think he needs a loan deal. He needs to go out and play football, right? He needs to go and develop his actual what he is as a midfielder. I'm not still real sure what he is. His problem at Tottenham is one thing. He's English. Let's be honest, he's English. Yeah. And we haven't got homegrown players. It's the only reason he's still at this football club. It's why he plays like Harry. Why
if he was French, he'd have gone 3 years ago.
If his name was like Olivier Skipper or something, he'd been gone a long time ago. He'd be playing it in Metz in France. No, it's nothing against the lad. He comes across like a nice bloke, but the problem what we have is now we haven't got. And do you know what the worst thing is? Is what we haven't got at the moment is players that have come through our academy that in the squad now. We've got one, and in Oliver Skip, right?
Would you agree, though, Perchy, that the club are trying to sort that issue out? When you look at it, look, I know Johnny has said this, and I've also said it. I think we've got like a United class of 92 coming through, or whatever it's called, 91. You've got the under-17s and the under-18s winning the cup. You now got a lot of under-21s, and also the club have gone out and got players from other academies to bring them in. Do you think that is a problem that the club, hopefully, in the next couple of years, are trying to get ahead of by keeping a lot of these core group? Because they also tied a hell of a lot of them down to new contracts.
No, I think so. I agree. But the problem what we've got is if we get Europe next season, this season we qualify for Europe, you're mandated to have 4 players that have been trained with you since you're 18 to 21 for 3 years. That have trained with you. So that means Tanganga will, if they don't obligate that loan deal, he's staying. Skip stays. That's the problem. We've got 2. We haven't got anyone else, and things like that are such a problem for us at the moment because we can't retain. We haven't got players through. We were lucky because we had the likes of Harry Kane, that was an amazing football player, and he counted his homegrown, played through our academy. We had Skip, we had Winks and all these lot that were just sitting around. This is the issue, right? This is the big issue. We haven't now got that next crop. it's coming. We know it's coming. When is it coming? We're going to struggle for registration problems unless we go and buy Carl Walker-Peters back from Southampton. We go and get Harry Winks back on. Do you know what I mean? Go and sign Marcus Edwards. Like, this is the issue we've got at the moment. We in terms of registration, that means then if that's the case, we're 4 players short. And then
I will say, I will say, Perchy, on that point, I agree with you. You know, we do have to start producing players from the academy, especially when it comes to Europe. But what I will say is I do think that especially the likes of the under-21s now, they've got a better opportunity than ever before because Ange Postecoglou, he done it at Celtic with their B team. He got them training and playing the exact same way. So when they were called up to training for Postecoglou to have a look at them, it wasn't a question of, you know, can they get used to my tactics and everything else? And, you know, it wasn't a question of they have to come up and get, you know, play a different way and get used to it. They were already playing that way and training that way. So it's just a matter of when they do step up and given the opportunity, it's literally only a question of, are you good enough? Are you not? And that's literally all it'll come down to now. But look, we'll progress on this point. Paul, do you think Ange Postecoglou will look to maybe filter through some of them under-21s this season at some point? Because you look at it, they got off to a fantastic start in the league. It looks like that's set to continue. And if it does, you have no option but to take a look at a few, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be far more open to it than other recent managers have been, I think. And, you know, if he thinks that a player like someone like a Dorrington or Phillips is ready for a first team jersey, then he'll give it to him. You know, it's whatever helps him win matches. It doesn't matter if they're academy players or unknown players from Uzbekistan or whatever. If he thinks that they're going to help him win and have success and play good football, he'll have them in.
Does he have a history of bringing through younger players and promoting them, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he did it too much at Celtic, but you've got to win the league or you're out of a job there. Yokohama, I think he did. Certainly in the Australian national team, he did. It was a complete overhaul, bringing a lot of youth players through, and at Brisbane Roar as well. So, you know, Ange likes a good clear out, and I think a few players have slowed him down from that by not playing ball. But they've only slowed him down, and we'll start picking up steam again pretty soon.
I really hope so. Dark Song G says, I can't wait to see the 3 sons, Johnson, Madison, and Sonny. 3 sons coming at you. I might have to redesign the Sun jersey, take my Kane one out and redesign it with Sonny. Dark Song G. Let me know if you'd buy it, my man. It'd be an absolute corker. Paul, you loved my Harry Kane one. You absolutely loved it.
It's not dated well, though, has it, man? It's not dated well, unfortunately.
Dark Sun G, why did you only say 3 sons? What about the 4th one, Richarlison?
Oh, no.
Okay, sorry.
Let me know why you didn't include Richarlison, though, Dark Sun G. Big up, my man. Yeah. And Adrian G says, big up, lads. Angela School Company on Pep's tactics. Anyone want to have a crack at this?
Yeah, you see, I like this. I was thinking about this. So, you know, we've got a Pep protege, Vincent Kompany, a bit green behind the ears. And you'd have to say man for man, Burnley's first 11 wouldn't be as good as ours. So I think we're going to see a real quality in Ange Postecoglou's approach to the whole game today. I think he's just going to out-football Vincent Kompany, and our players will do it on the pitch. We're going to play football. This is our secret weapon. There's no such thing as Ange ball. We're just going to be playing proper football, and we're just going to do it better than other teams. That's what's going to happen in tonight's game. We're going to smash them.
James, do you want to have a say on this?
Keeping it positive, yeah?
You can say what you want. It doesn't bother me, lad.
Yeah, you can pop it if you want.
Kompany, I can't remember who mentioned it earlier. It was a while ago, but Kompany's tactics are very progressive football, attacking football. They looked really good in the Championship. They stormed the Championship last year. Incredible team for the Championship. One of the best Championship teams in recent years, right? They've come to the Premier League. Huge step up. He's still using similar tactics. However, he's going to have to, and there's no question about this. He has to adopt a more low block system when he's playing against the bigger teams. I'd like to think we still fall in that category, and especially as we're playing progressive football with a high line, and we're going to be in their half for the majority of the game. So for sure, you know, I think Ange will get the better of Company today. But one thing for sure is Burnley won't be afraid to counter-attack us aggressively, which is my only concern today, which is why I won't give my score prediction yet, but I think we will concede because I think we'll be on the front foot, and we'll get caught because they do have some quick players.
And on to James's point, Perchy, do you think then it could be similar to the Bournemouth game where Burnley will look to press us or they will look to attack, and that there will actually be a bit of space there for us to get at them today? Perchy, I think it's gone for a break. But big up Adrian Cheer. We'll ask Perchy when he comes back, my man. Big yourself up, brother. Really appreciate it. Oh, Perchy, you're back. So to James's point, you know, he was saying that, you know, Burnley will look to come at us. They're not going to sit back. They're not going to be scared. So to that point, do you think it could be very similar to the Bournemouth game that we seen last week where, you know, there will be a bit of space for us to be able to play into?
Sorry, apologies. All my sound went, so I missed the half of the question. I do apologize. I lost everything. Was that to me?
Yeah. It's to you.
Sorry,
to you.
I lost everything. I couldn't hear anything, so I was trying to frantically figure out my earbuds connected to something else, and then I lost all sound, so I missed the whole question.
I heard the tiger connected to your speaker. I heard the tiger was on. That's what I heard, my man. But look, Perchy, do you think then this game, what I mean is, do you think this game will be similar to the Bournemouth one where they're not going to be afraid, they're not going to sit back, it's not going to be playing against a low block team, they will look to come out at us, they will look to press us at every opportunity?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what we're going to play against the student versus the copycat, right? Is that the game today?
Yeah.
So, but listen, I think we're gonna be absolutely fine. As to what Paul said earlier, I think we've got the better team. We should be winning it. Like, let's be frank and honest. I think we have to continue to play the way we do. As long as it's the 11 that started against Bournemouth, I'm happy. Crack on. The only tweak I would probably do is maybe start Son down the middle. Maybe it would be the only slight tweak, but I'm not massively against it. If not, I think that will be the future. I think once Johnson's bedded into the team and they find the role where they want to put him. But today, I think we've got no worries. The one thing though I would say on today, Charleston scores. He gets himself goes and gets himself a couple of goals today. Start building it. Like, listen, I've been a massive critique of him. Massive. Can't be going. We need to start scoring goals. So let's see. We'll see today. We'll see. I think we'll win today. I think we'll win 2-0.
I'll just say this. Ange Postecoglou was coaching teams before Pep Guardiola was shitting yellow. So who's copying who?
Fair point. Fair point. Big up, Adrian Chino, my man. Great to see you, and hopefully we'll see you throughout the watch along as well. I can't wait to get this game underway, my man. But look, sticking to the point of up front, look, of course, we got new signing Brennan Johnson last night. Paul, we'll go to you. Do you envision Brennan Johnson starting today? Do you think he'll get any minutes?
I don't know. It's a bit quick, isn't it? Or
he can't play.
He's not registered.
We didn't sign it. We had to. If you wanted him to play today, he had to be registered by 12 o'clock midday, and he wasn't. He didn't sign by then.
So to answer your question, Dave, no, I don't think he will be playing.
So, look, do you think then Ange Postecoglou keeps the faith in Richarlison? Of course, scored against Fulham, and do you think Richarlison can use that goal now to kick on?
Well, we'll find out, won't we? I mean, it was a pretty good finish, to be fair to him, against Fulham. I know he's like had a bit of comedy clown feet in the 6-yard box recently, but I'm hoping he does come good. Whether he will or not, who knows, man. But I think that would be the ideal thing for us. You know, the window's closed. Best thing would be if Richarlison starts banging in some goals, and Son and Kulu and everyone else.
Mm. Well, look, Paul, I'm going to ask you for an educated guess on Richarlison. You've been around, you've seen some of the great strikers Spurs have had down the years. Surely, you know, I think you'd have a pretty good gauge whether you think Richarlison will make it or not at Tottenham, especially in the Ant system.
No, I'm not. Look, he seems to run away from space into players. The only time he's in space is when he's offside. His first touch is heavy, although look at Man United in the Bournemouth in the first half, he was a lot better. So maybe if he improves, he'll start getting the odd goal here or there. But he's not. He doesn't seem like a, you know, one of those instinctive centre forwards. You know, the player that finds himself in the right place at the right time, and you know, it looks lucky, but it's not. It's just that they somehow can read the game well. Whereas Richarlison always seems to be like 2 foot off where, you know, someone better would be. Not quite right. So who knows? Look, I want it to come good whether he does or not. I'm a bit doubtful, but yeah.
Sorry, just quickly. That fact you brought up, Dave, is mental. He's not scored with his feet for Tottenham yet.
It's true.
Amazing.
Madness.
True.
That is amazing.
But
wow.
look, let's get on to that, right? That leads me into the next part. You know, we'll get you in on this, James, and then Perchy. I mean, is that something Richarlison can improve at 26 years of age? You know, because that's what's letting him down, right? It's not just striking the ball with his feet, but it's controlling the ball, it's laying it off, it's running with it. You know, everything seems to be heavy. You know, is that something he can improve at 26 years of age?
Firstly, I refuse to accept that he's not good with his feet. I've seen he's awful with his first touch. He runs, he seems to make a heavy touch, and then he loses the ball. We've seen it. And as Paul made a good point, he sort of doesn't run into the space. He runs at players almost like he wants to barge into them and try and wrestle his way through.
Yeah.
But he's like, correct me if I'm just being simplistic, but he's Brazilian. They are incredible with their first touch. They are incredible with their feet. You've seen the guys in the streets playing keepy-uppies and making it look like it's a virtual game. So I just don't get how Richarlison's so bad with his first touch. It blows my mind. And in answer to your question, Dave, I think he has got it in his locker. I think it's a bit of nerves. I think he's trying too hard at times. I genuinely do, because we've seen he scores goals at Everton, 15 in one season once. That would be brilliant for us. So, and Everton don't score as many goals as Tottenham. So there's no reason why he can't score 15 goals. I refuse to believe it. But I think it's incredible that he's not taking advantage of the space, making sensible runs. He's trying too hard, I think, or a lot of it. I don't think he's an incredible player. I don't think he's worth £60 million. But I do think he's got goals in him. He's just not doing the right things right now.
Look, I think that's a very good observation, to be fair, my man. Look, for me, I question how many goals he has in him. I just think, you know, the amount of things you have to compartmentalize in the split second as a goal scorer, holding the player off, you know, looking where the goalkeeper is, positioning, you know, looking at the ball, trying to strike it, but also picking out your corner. There's so many things you have to compartmentalize. I don't think he can do that at the speed what other great goal scorers can do it. But Perchy, I mean, where are you at with Richarlison? You know, to James's point again, can he improve the all-round game with his feet? Because that's what's killing him right now.
Oh no, Mr. Negative's going to come back in a second. No, I think I'll be honest. I think he's awful. I genuinely sit and watch him play. Just don't watch the game. Just watch him. And I sit back and I go, like, you've got to be like. What I always say, to sit there, like I'm at the stage where I don't even talk about goals now with him. I just want him to like be involved in the build-up of a goal now. Like I genuinely feel we sometimes feel like we're playing with 10 men on the pitch when he's on the pitch, and it's such a disservice. It kills a lot of our attacks. I see it and I go, like, there's effort. I gave the excuse a few weeks ago. I went, at least he tries. I sit back and I go, but we're now at a situation we haven't got Harry Kane to salvage us, right? Listen, when you can work hard, blah, 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 not score, but then Harry Kane saves you. He's the plaster. I called him the plaster for Tottenham for years. He just salvaged, he got us out of jail so much. I really worry. And I don't know what you can do with him now. I really do worry. Do you drop? I said, do you drop him? But we can't have a player, a number 9, not scoring goals. Listen, I'm not saying here to say you got to get 20 goals. But he's got to score in the league. He has to. As I said, he's only scored against 3 teams since joining Tottenham. He's been here a year and a bit now. And that's not great. And when we talk about him scoring at Everton, it wasn't 15. His best goal scoring record is 13 goals.
Yeah.
13 goals. Like, and he was, I just worry. And I sit back and go, what can we do? What do we do? We have to change something up, right?
But to be fair, Perchy, to be fair, he was playing more off the wing at Everton. Plus 13 goals at Everton. At Tottenham, if you do it like for like in terms of how many we scored compared to Everton, do it over the years, that's like scoring 17 goals at Tottenham, right? Because he's going to get more goals in a team that scores more goals overall.
Not necessarily, James.
I don't think it works as simple as that.
But I'm not defending Richarlison and saying he can easily score 15, 20 goals. I'm saying there's no reason why he should be scoring 1 or 2. There is
100%.
whatsoever.
100%. Look,
he's sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, here's the question: at what stage do you change it up? At what stage? Because we can't have a player he's a £60 million problem that doesn't score any goals. That's at the moment. That's what he is, right? When do you make the change? When do you go? Do you know what I can't put any more faith in you because you're not scoring any goals. Like, for example, I use it. So Tottenham and Kulusevski start scoring today. Just say hypothetically, when do you make that switch? Because it has to happen at some point, right?
I answer your question. I would give it 1 or 2 more games, and then you can't just keep playing him up front and hoping it comes good. He's having more chances than any player, technically, if not more, because Andrew's still picking him when he's having stinker. I mean, last week at Bournemouth, I can't remember who said Paul said he had a good first half. He had a better first half, but actually second half, he was a disgrace because what he did is he got the most stupid yellow card for losing the ball with stupid touch, right? Yeah. And then he got a 5.8 rating, in my opinion, or whatever it was on most of the apps, right? All the other players got a 7 or over. And so you have to think, you can't just keep putting him in if he's not going to contribute and he's going to get a stupid card and put the team at risk, right?
Sorry, Dave. So I'll be 30 seconds. The thing is we're getting away with it because we're winning games of football, right? We're getting away with him. He can have bad performances, but winning games of football. If we didn't beat Bournemouth, we'd all be talking about how crap he is up as a number 9, right? That's my point on it.
Look, for me, I think, you give him today, you give him the Sheffield United game back after the international break. If he doesn't score, you make the change for the North London derby, in my opinion. But with Richarlison, to James's point, at Everton, he had so much space to run into because they're sitting back for the majority of the game. So when he does break, he can take them heavy touches and use his speed to get onto the end of it. When you're playing with Tottenham Hotspur, you're playing, against teams where a lot of their players are behind, a lot of the opposition players behind the ball, which means you have to technically be good. You have to be able to shift the ball between your left and your right feet very, very quickly to be able to skim players. And Richarlison has failed to make that adaptation. You look at a lot of his touches, he still thinks he has the space he has to attack into and run into when playing with Everton. Whereas at Tottenham, that ball needs to be tight. That first touch, it needs to stop dead. It needs to be tight at his feet. Same when he's dribbling with the ball, it needs to be tight at his feet, not knocking it on the way he is and sprinting on to the end of it. It's a complete different game when you're jumping from Everton to Tottenham Hotspur, and he has failed to adapt. And that's the areas of the game he really needs to improve on. But look, we'll move on.
And Dave, prime example in that Bournemouth game, you just said about the touches for that yellow card. He thought he could just run into the players. He fell over. I can't remember what he did. He fell over the ball or something. It was absolutely embarrassing. He then stropped like a little kid. He's 26 years old, by the way, or whatever he is. He stropped like a little kid and then stuck his leg out like it's Sunday League, like something we do as a child. I mean, what a muppet. I can't defend that.
If his name was Richard Arlison and we signed him from Sheffield United, we'd have won him gone years ago. Just saying. It's because he's Brazil number 9. That's what he gets all the credit for.
Look, I don't buy into that Brazil number 9. It's the worst Brazil team I've seen in my lifetime. They don't exactly have a great squad to pick from. But
someone name me their other strikers, because I mean he's against like awful players. Like really, he's the best number 9 for Brazil for a reason, because there's no one better. That's it.
No, I agree.
He's not actually that good.
Sure. Brazil haven't produced good strikers since Ronaldo and Rivaldo anyway. Dark Sun G21 says +2 Son in Emerson and Richarlison as the sidekicks. Look, with Emerson, I actually think he gets a bit of a raw deal. I get the question marks around him, but for me, I think he's better than what people make out to be. I think he offers a bit more than what people make out to be. But I'm not going to get into an Emerson debate today. We can have that debate when he comes up on more topics. I know Perchy's smiling. Me and Perchy can have that debate someday, I suppose, over Emerson Royale. But look, yeah, you have left out too, my man, the two Brazilians, Dark Sun G. Let me know why, though. Big up, brother. Big up. And then we have Ellie and Paul. We'll throw this one at you, my man. She says, I DM'd Højbjerg. Please don't leave as we need his experience. And my name, Quillian Ellie Højbjerg, I've grown to love. He's our Danish Viking and I'm his queen. So long live the queen, the king and queen. What the... Ellie's making it sound like a Shakespeare play. Big up, Ellie. Absolutely love it. But Paul, my man, I mean, Højbjerg staying around sort of refused a couple of moves out of here, especially, I think, one to Fulham, despite sort of suggesting, or the report suggesting, that Højbjerg wanted out, and that's why he was on the list to leave this summer. What do you make of Højbjerg staying? Because for me, I thought it was utterly disappointing Tuesday. I thought he let Ange Postecoglou down. I get he can't offer what Basuma offers in terms of running at players, taking them on, but he can't pass a ball, and he failed to progress that ball Tuesday night, and it was a large part of the problem.
Yeah, man. I mean, he sort of strikes me as a player as if he's playing with two good players in midfield, he'll do an all right job. But, we saw on, in the FA, in the League Cup game where the midfielders weren't up to it, and he looked like bloody Højbjerg was hiding, man. And every time he got the ball, it was, I kind of, even though our defence was crap, I kind of felt sorry for them a bit because every time they tried to give it to someone in midfield, they'd get it straight back, inviting pressure on themselves. So, just Højbjerg, he's hot and cold, and maybe he's one of the players that's clogging us up a bit at the moment. And it might be time. I'm sorry, Ellie, but that last game was atrocious. It really was, and he did let Ange down.
Listen, Dave, I'm glad you gave that question to Paul, because I thought you were going to ask me to DM Højbjerg as well, saying I loved him, because I wasn't going to do it, mate.
No, Jack's already done that, so don't worry about that. Jack also loves him as well. I think Højbjerg's trying to sit there to decide now who he's going to reply to, Ellie or Jacko. But look, ultimately, Højbjerg did let himself down Tuesday as well, in my opinion. He really did. But look, he's here to stay, Ellie. Hopefully, because look, let's be honest, he came on against United, bar that one pass, I thought he'd done well. He came on against Bournemouth, I thought he'd done all right. He done a job off the bench, but then Tuesday night, he just really let himself down. There's a player there giving out that he's not in the first 11, but then he was given the opportunity, and he was just awful.
Do you know what, Dave? Sorry, Dave. Do you know what? I think Højbjerg is compared to players that aren't like him, and that's where his downfall is, in my opinion. I don't think he's that bad, and I think he's not amazing, but not terrible. Like some people think he's absolutely terrible. He's clearly not, because under Conte, he was one of our better players for a while, right? People forget that. So I'd say he's in the middle. He's an average player. He's a good squad player, but people start comparing him to Basuma and Sarr. Basuma and Sarr are incredible on the ball. They're progressive. They're much better at going forward. Højbjerg's like the anchor. You can get him to sit deep in front of that defence, spray passes where needed. It's a different kettle of fish.
And Perchy, what's your thoughts on Pierre Højbjerg? Do you think James has a point there where he says, we're a bit unfair on Højbjerg, that we compare him to players that, he's just not similar to?
Not necessarily. I think I can understand the sentiment of the point, but I think he's a very, very limited football player. There's a reason why certain managers like Højbjerg in their team, why Jose loved him, why Conte loved him, because they're not in your team for anything. They are so average. There's a reason why Simeone wants him at Atletico Madrid. Like one of those players that just suits a team, right? He just suits a team. Like, honestly, he's so boring to it's just it's dull. I don't like the pointing. The pointing triggers me. It triggers me because I sit there and go, no, do your job. Stop telling other people to do a job. Do your own job. He's not a very good lit. It's a reason why he comes onto the pitch when we need to hold out. Yeah, he has a sort of job in that role, but listen, he was one of those that you could get money for. You could get you get tangible money for, get rid. But the player turned it down, right? So,
but Perchy, you need players that can come on in a game and sort of mop up and defend and do a job in front of the back line. You can't just have 7 types of Basuma player. We'd love that. We'd be playing like Brazil. You need balance in your team. You need a balance in the squad where you've got a player that's defensive and midfielders that can progress like a Basuma. You have to have both.
I think we need better than him, though. I don't think he's a very good football player. There's nothing I see in his game that I go, you're a good football player. You're good at sitting deep and breaking, maybe being an extra man at centre half, basically, by standing in front of the back line, pointing and shouting and not moving much. He has got no mobility. He is so slow. Watch him move. It's like when him and here's example. You looked on Tuesday. I'm not going back in there. Don't worry. I'm saying, but you look on Tuesday. Look at the difference between Basuma and Sarr, Skip and Højbjerg. It's like they're running in treacle. Genuinely, they're so slow, and you can't play them in this system. They just don't work. You need to go and get someone that has the defensive capabilities, but can actually be mobile. And listen, he was one of those players that you could get tangible money for. We had £25 million on the table from Fulham. Sell. I think there was the offer from Atletico Madrid on loan with an obligation of 40 million. Snap your hand off. He's not a 40 million pound player. He's not that good. He doesn't fit our system. It's square peg round holes again.
Perchy,
doing it again.
Perchy, to put you on the spot. Fair play. I mean, I don't rate Højbjerg that lowly, but agree to disagree. who would you get instead of him in that type of role where someone mops up and actually can play in a system where we need to be more defensive one game against like a Man City or something? Who would you get?
Listen, I don't think we'll sign him. I don't think we will, but João Palhinha. That would be. I don't think we'll sign that style of player that is very good defensive, but he's very mobile. You put me on the spot. I haven't got a load of that list. I'll have to do a bit of research to find him, but. A player like a João Palhinha. Look at what he does. Look at the difference on the game on Tuesday. How good João Palhinha was compared to Højbjerg. That's your comparison. That's a player that improves us. Højbjerg doesn't.
Yeah, but at the same time, realistically, I know I put you on the spot and you've named me one, but like Paulinho is never going to come in and be a backup for when we need to play a more defensive.
No. I'm not suggesting that, but my point being, as I said, I'd have to go through and do a lot of digging, doing a bit of research stuff. But I will come back with you with 3 ideal candidates. There you go. I will find them and I'll come back to you with them. But you get my point though. I feel like we haven't got the God, what was that? Højbjerg hasn't got the ability to play the Ange Postecoglou system. Whether we like him as a player, people like him and hate him, whatever, that's cool. He hasn't got the mobility. He can't look. We got outrun in midfield with him and Skip next to each other, and Skip only stays because he's homegrown. So I think both have to go, and you have to go and get better players in.
Look, everyone, great debate. Perchy is doubling down, saying they're just not good enough, don't suit the system. And James is saying, well, you need a bit of balance to the squad. So let us know in the chat what side of the fence you sit on with Pierre Sauceburg. King Huddle says you forgot to compare him to Garincha and Zico, Paul. So big up King Huddle. And then we have Faz Radfar. He says we can get battered soon. But we should trust Ange. Look, against the likes of Man City and Liverpool and teams like that, there is that sort of fear, Paul. What would you say to Faz Radfar?
Oh, nah, man, we're gonna be sooner or later we're gonna start battering teams, and when we start battering teams, we ain't gonna stop. And maybe tonight's the night that we start having a go, man, because we got better football pedigree. Look, if there was no Tottenham Hotspur, there'd be no Vincent Kompany. Because we had a player just post-war, Vic Buckingham, played under Arthur Rowe, played for Tottenham Hotspur. Vic Buckingham then went to Ajax and Barcelona, ended up there in the 60s and 70s. Who was his protege? Johan Cruyff. Where did Johan Cruyff get all his football knowledge from? A bloody Tottenham Hotspur player. So no Johan Cruyff, no Pep Guardiola, no Vincent Kompany. And on our side, we've got Arthur Rowe, Ferenc Puskas, Ange Postecoglou. That's football. We win hands down.
Love it. Big up, Faster and Far. Hope you enjoyed that answer, my man. Absolutely love it.
That's why he's the only psychedelic Spurs fan, mate. Honestly.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. But big up, Faz, my man. Great to see you in the building. Let me know if you're going to the game or not. But big yourself up, brother. Look, guys, 2 talking points left, and then we'll call it an afternoon and get prepared for the Burnley game. First one is Paul. We'll start with you again, my man. Do you see Ange Postecoglou making another 9 changes today to bring everyone back in?
He might do, and it might pay off this time, eh? So, who knows what he's going to do. That's why I'm finding this exciting. He might go back to the old first 11. He might still want to try a couple of things out. Who knows? But
if he was to try anything out, what do you think it would be?
Sorry?
If he was to try anything sort of out a bit different, what do you think it could be?
God, I'd have to think about that one, man. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Højbjerg a bit earlier on the pitch. I don't know if I'd want him to try to train that much, man. I want to see the good guys out there, but, Ange's got to do what Ange's got to do.
And before we move on, Paul, Sonny hasn't registered a goal or an assist yet this season. Would you say he's been performing well, or has he sort of been a little underwhelming to you so far?
No, I think he's been getting better. I thought last game he was pretty good. I think he's going to be better when because also Maddison wasn't quite finding him when he could have. I think against Brentford. So it's just fine tuning. I think Sonny will come good. He might bang in a couple today. Who knows? But he's a quality player. No doubts in him at all. Interesting.
James, same 2 questions to you, my man. Do you think Ange Postecoglou will make another 9 changes today? And, Son, do you think he's been performing well, or have you been a little underwhelmed with his output in terms of goals and assists?
Ange will keep it the same, not the same as Tuesday, the same as last weekend against Bournemouth.
Give him another go, man.
Yeah, see if it works this time. I think he'll play the exact same 11 as the Bournemouth game. I thought we looked very good in that game. And the same as the Man United game. Let's keep it going in the Premier League. Bit of negativity on Tuesday. I know we dwelled on it a bit, but I think we're going to come good with this 11 today again. And Sonny, man, I'm one of his biggest fans, and he's just killing me. It's killing me every week watching him. I'll be honest. I don't agree with Paul's comment to an extent that he's getting like slightly better. I honestly think it's not the Sonny of old. It's really like, man, he just looks the shadow of a player he did 3 years ago. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if it's his injury. I don't know if it's a confidence issue. But I'd play him more central. And if I was to make one change back to your first question, Dave, I'd put Sonny more central earlier on, see if he can play off the shoulder, and maybe even put a Solomon on for a bit of pace down the wings. Change it up.
Yeah, look.
Earlier. Change it up earlier is my point.
Yeah. Fair point. Perchy, where are you at with them 2 questions, my man?
Yeah, simple for me. The goalkeeper goes back in. The back 4 goes back in. The midfield goes back in. And that front 3, I agree with James. Play Son down the middle. Kulu on the right. Go Solomon on the left. Or go Perisic on the left. Just do something a little bit different. Put Richarlison on the bench, personally. That's how I want. But the first point, goalkeeper, defenders stay the same. The midfield stay the same. They have to be. If they're fit, those 8 players start for me, hands down at the moment. That front 3 needs to we just need to fine tune it and find the right. For me, Son down the middle, he's ineffective on the left. It's so boring now. Like it's so predictable.
He did a nice little 1-2 with a doggy to set up a goal for Kulusevski. So that was effective.
But where was he though? Where was he in the pitch? He was down the middle, right? He drifted in centrally, right? That's what I agree. Him centrally, he's more of an impact to this team. He offers a lot more. That's what he needed. I would prefer down the middle, who could play that style where you can just drop in a little bit like what Kane used to do, just drop in a little bit and allow a bit more space out wide to drift in. He hasn't got the pace out on that left anymore.
Do you know what? When it comes to Sonny, I think I think people are a bit harsh on him. I think you got to understand when he turned up for preseason, he was off the back of just having a surgery. He had carried a couple of long injuries last season. I think this season, yes, against Brentford, he was absolutely crap. I get it. But against United, I thought he was better. He ran out his opposition. He opened up play for us. Against Bournemouth, he got the assist. I thought he was better. Now, look, the question is he better down the middle or off the left? Well, look, I warned, that. You take Kane out of striker, will Sonny be the same player down the left? Because people, didn't want to talk about how good Kane was for Son in terms of putting him through on goal, this, that, and the other. And it was likewise as well. But how good they were for each other. And I think Son is at the point now where he's trying to adapt his game from linking up with the main man to now being the main man. And I think he's trying to adapt that game. And it'd be interesting to see whether Ange Postecoglou sees that down the left or through the middle. However, I do think Ange eventually will look to change up that front three a bit. I think right now, personally, I think it is causing them a couple of headaches. I think you've got Kulu not always doing what Ange Postecoglou wants him to do down the left or down the right. You've got Son not always doing what Ange Postecoglou wants him to do down the left. Then you've got a problem in the middle with Richarlison. So I do think you might have to switch that up a little. But look, Ange Postecoglou will find a way, which Celtic, the first 5 games, there was trials and tribulations when he first took over. A lot of fans questioned him. But once he found that settled 11, they went on and pushed on and absolutely dominated Scotland. So I do trust in Ange's ability to find a way on that for sure. Look, we got one super
point,
chat.
though. Sorry, Dave, such a good point, though, about Kane. Like, not many people are saying that about Son. Because at the end of the day, you take out a single in a duo and suddenly they look a bit lost. It's like he's lost a bit of his game about him because he relied so heavily on the Kane 1-2s and playing alongside Kane. However, the only thing I'd say on that is Kane was involved obviously last year and Son was pretty poor most of last season as well. So the only thing I'd say is I agree with what you're saying in terms of his game style for Tottenham. He looks a bit lost without Kane. He's always trying to find the 1-2 with a player. Now he's got Richarlison next to him. Like, it's very different. But Son, in terms of on the ball when he's got it and he's trying to do something with it, he looks like he's just lost. I can't explain it.
What I mean by that, though, James, is when the ball went up to Harry Kane, Son gambled, made runs in behind him. He ain't doing that when the ball's going to Richarlison because he ain't taking that gamble because he doesn't have, the belief that Richarlison can either A, get turned on the ball and play him in, or B, flick it on. So he's not gambling like that anymore. Kane could also get on the ball and play Sonny through. Richarlison ain't doing that. So it's affecting Son's game a hell of a lot. Last season, yes, I'm not saying Son can't get on the ball, beat a couple of players, put it top bins. Yes, he can. But another contributing factor to the goals was him gambling in behind Kane playing him through, stuff like that. And, obviously, look, Ange Postecoglou was asking a little bit of a different role off him from the left than what he was asked for in previous years. I get that. But it'd be interesting to see where Ange envisions getting the very best out of
Dave, against Bournemouth, Son in the first half, there was a few times where we were literally 3-on-3 against their defense. We looked like we were going to score every attack. Sonny was on the left, and he sort of then drifted way too wide and wasn't inside enough to receive the ball. Like you said, when he used to dart behind the defense and make the run when Kane was there, Kane just telepathically knew where Son was going to be, right? Son started drifting left and left more, like he's about to go off the pitch, right? Because against Bournemouth in that first half, there was so many times we could have played a triangle ball through, like diagonal ball through to Son from the left, but he went too wide and then he started like having to keep the ball and then try and cross it. It was a shambles. But if that connection's there with Maddison again, and we can connect like a Maddison and Son rather than a Kane and a Son, that would actually 100%. Be really effective for Sonny.
100%. Mark says, Dave, come on, you don't blame Richie for Sonny. I ain't blaming Richie for Sonny whatsoever. I'm just saying, when people were talking about Kane and Son picking up the slack, and I highlighted this at the time because I've watched people where, videos where they've gone in-depth analysis on the stats. For instance, go and look at Ben Foster's podcast. He had a stats guy on over the course of the last year, and he went into great detail on Kane and Son and how good they are for each other. And I'm not blaming Richie for Son's game, but no one can tell me Son is making them gambling runs in behind like he was when the ball was going in towards Harry Kane. He ain't doing it. That's just a matter of fact. And I don't know why I think he doesn't do it, because he doesn't trust that it's going to come personally. So what you're seeing from Sonny is he's holding back and waiting for the ball to be played into his feet. So it's a bit different in that regard. So I'm not blaming Son or Richie for Son, but striking up a partnership takes time, and there is an adaptation, adjustment periods that you have to allow for. It's that simple. Big Bobby, big up, Big Bobby, my man. Great to see you. Where you from? Let me know. He says Vicario through the friendlies was a bit dodgy, but I thought he has stepped up and really looks comfortable with the ball at his feet. Great channel, guys. Big up, Bobby. I really appreciate the kind words, my man. Really, really do appreciate it. And then we just quickly, actually, no, I'll come back to it because I think George is being stupid in the comments. He's saying, Dave, you have to get over Kane. It's creepy. I mean, sorry, I think you're being a bit creepy if you want me to be brutally honest, because, you know, the fact that I'm trying to make a point, I'm using Kane to make it because he was here last season and how much he contributed to Son's game. So, or helped Sonny out in terms of the telepathic relationship. So the fact that you're saying I can't bring it up to maybe make a point is absolutely nonsensical. It's a point that needs to be spoken about. If you haven't gone and done the research into the stats and everything else like that, that's on you, my man. That ain't on me. I've gone and researched it. I've gone and looked into it. You haven't. So don't sit there and call me creepy because I'm bringing up a valid point. You know, the fact is, I haven't. Do you know what? I guarantee you've watched more Harry Kane games at Bayern Munich than I have, because I've watched zero. So, you know, I would say you're the creepy one. Anyway, back to Big Bobby. Sorry about that, Big Bobby. Some people you just have to deal with because they're just being idiots in the comments. You know, I'm sorry, but the fact that he can't understand the overall point I'm making is just stupid.
We all understood it, mate. Don't worry. We all understood it.
Yeah.
Well, not all. Clearly not all. George doesn't. But look, we'll go back to Big Bobby. He deserves to focus right now. It's his hard-earned money. So apologise about that, Big Bob. Pick yourself up. Look, I think Vicario has been great. Couple of clean sheets on the bounce, distribution. I think we missed that distribution Tuesday night. At times when we went to play back to Fraser Forrester, I better not talk about him because that'd be creepy. He ended up absolutely spanking it long. You know, whereas with Vicario can play over the press. He can play it into your feet, play it into your chest. So, you know, I think we missed Vicario Tuesday, but we'll go around the houses on this one. We'll get the score predictions as well, and then we will call it a day. Hotspur, my man, what's your thoughts on Vicario to Big Bobby, and also what's your score prediction, lad?
Yeah, I'm really happy with Vicario. You know, last game, you know, and I hate it when goalkeepers start trying to play football, but he was kind of taking the piss out of a few Bournemouth players last week. I thought he looks like a nutcase, which is great. He's you know, he's unpredictable, which I, in a good way, you know. So yeah, I've got high hopes. He's just going to get better and better. As for tonight's game, like I say, sooner or later we're going to start bashing teams, and why not tonight? I think Burnley haven't had a great start. We can get them because we can just play whatever they're trying to do. This, you know, it's been watered down, hasn't it? And they've tried to draw rules and tram lines and shit like that around it. So we're just going to come and play what they're trying to do. We're just going to play football. So I'm going to go 6-0.
I love it. I love it. Paul, I need to go and spend the day with Paul and see what he gets up to before match days. I need some of that energy, my man. I need it. James, where are you at with Big Bobby? I love it, Paul. I love it. I really do. I really hope I don't lose my enthusiasm. You know, when I get to your stage in life, my man. James, Big Bobby, what would you say about Vicario?
Paul looked a bit offended when you said that, Dave.
I'll get you, young lad.
I don't mean any offence by
You
it whatsoever.
respect your elders.
Joking.
Look at Paul, he's full of life, full of humour. You know what I mean? I want to be like that.
I know, agree. I want some of whatever he's having before the game as well. But Vicario, I was one of the ones in pre-season. Hands up, was like, what have we done here? He looks like a nervous lamb in goal. But wow, he's been brilliant. Not put a single hand wrong since those pre-season games, to be honest with you. And against Man United, he made a couple of ridiculous saves. One of the ones he tipped onto the crossbar. Wow. Yeah. Couldn't see Lloris doing that anymore. Certainly not. So I think we've got a keeper, and like you said, distribution-wise with his feet, we've missed that as well. In the modern day, we need a keeper that's not just a shot stopper, can play out from the back. So what a signing, in my opinion. Score prediction. I'm not going 6-0. Sorry, Paul. I'm sorry, mate. I'm not going 6-0. I'm going for a 2-1 Spurs win. 2-1. I think Burnley will score. I really do. And I think that we'll just have enough. And I think it'll be a tough game. I really do. I don't think Burnley will be a walkover like a 6-0. Paul, if we win 6-0, mate, I'll message you an apology. But I don't think we'll score goals and goals and goals. I think it'll be a 2-1. Yeah, I'm going 2-1. And I think Richarlison's scoring, mate. He's scoring after what we've said about him today.
I'm the dreamer.
Birchie, if Richarlison scores, mate, I'm going to give you a message and just be like, are you
anytime, man. Anytime. I'll be in the mud as always.
I've got the neck muscles ready. I'm ready to do the pigeon. I'm gonna, you know what I might do? I have Palm. I might run down to the pound shop, cover myself in glue, and buy some feathers. Let's wait and see. But Barchi, my man, where are you at when it comes to Vicario? And what's your score prediction?
Vicario, see, everyone's gonna think I'm gonna say something negative. No, I was one of the ones that backed this guy. I thought people jumped on him so quickly. The guy had played a few 45-minute appearances again in pre-season. Everyone already said he's an absolute awful signing. I sit back and go, you just haven't got a clue. I actually don't think any of the goals that he's conceded at Tottenham have been his fault. I'd go out there. Not one goal he's conceded, including pre-season, by the way. Not one has he made a mistake. Nope. So on that basis, I sit back and go, what can I blame him? I think he's been brilliant. I think he was punished because his name was not David Raya. That's all it was, and that is all it ever will be. He was punished because his name wasn't David Raya. If he had Raya on the back of his shirt, we would not be saying anything about him because people don't watch stuff outside of the Premier League and they don't know other goalkeepers. He came in and I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I was actually going to get a Vicario 13 shirt just because I want to be the guy. I was the guy at the beginning that stood by this guy.
No one buys goalkeeper jerseys. No one.
No, I know. That's the reason. That's the joke.
Do you know what?
The point.
Do you know what? The new one's a belter. I
agree. Yeah. The blue one's
a belter.
Better than any of the other kits. I think the kits are awful this year. As always, most of the
time. I like the away
one.
One. That's it.
Maybe,
I could imagine you two buying the goalkeeper jersey. You can be like Whiteman and Austin going around.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in the background somewhere.
Yeah. I might get the Whiteman shirt just for the banter. And just on the context of what we're going to win 2-0 today, another good result. We're going to win another clean sheet. I'm going 2-0, another 2-0. I'm going to go Son, Kulusevski. No, Son and Madison. I said it before. Son and Madison goals.
Love it. Big Bobby, my man. I think, look, Vicario against United, he made 6 saves, helped us on the way to 3 points there for sure. Against Bournemouth, his distribution really helped us on the way for 3 points as well. I like Vicario. Look, I'm not going to lie. I had a couple of reservations after pre-season, the shots he faced on goal. I think it was the Barcelona one. I think one of them is way over the other side of the goal where he shouldn't have been. But look, since then, he's come back. Big Vic, he's come in and he's provided the venom and the sauce that we need, my man. So long may it continue. And hopefully we get another clean sheet out of him today, right? He's definitely come in and been an upgrade on Hugo Lloris where he sort of declined. So big up, Big Bobby. Really appreciate the support, brother. Absolute legend. And we have another super chat here from Ellie, and we'll take this and then we'll go around, find out where everyone can find you. A lot of people have really enjoyed today's show, so we'll definitely let you guys plug your channel so that people can get over there and support you guys as well. Ellie, big up, Ellie. She says all this Højbjerg dissing is completely unfounded. 3 top coaches, are they all wrong? Then shh. Say Ancelotti, Simeone, Jose, and Queen Ellie Højbjerg too. You're leaving out Conte there. He also played him, Ellie. He also played him. Percy, you look a bit bemused by that comment.
Look at it's madness, isn't it? This is the love for an individual player over common sense, right? Ellie, I love you to bits. You're top. It's lovely chatting with you on streams and stuff, but this obsession needs to stop. He's an average football player that plays one certain way that doesn't fit the system that we play. Listen, look at the difference we are in midfield when Sarr and Basuma play. Look at it's levels, right? It's levels. Like he's average. Yeah, there's a reason why Simeone wants to sign him, because he doesn't really need a ball playing midfielder, someone that can jink in and out of it and break a low block. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, sorry. I'm bemused. Big up Ellie though.
Virtually, I reckon you should have a couple beers before the game, mate. Loosen up and enjoy it, I reckon.
Oh, I am. I'm chilled, mate. I think we're going to win. I'm good. I just don't do with delusion, you know. I try and keep things as realistic
we're all
as
deluded,
possible.
man. We're all deluded. Everyone's deluded.
But then we get the football club we deserve if we want to keep the likes of Højbjerg at the club, right?
No.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them.
Delusional, man. Me being delusional, so we're going to definitely 100% going to win the double this year. Doesn't affect whether Højbjerg stays at the club or not. So I'm going to keep on smoking what I'm smoking, man.
No, I get all that. Listen, there's all wanting to go and win it all, by the way. Like, I've got no issues with that. But I sit back and go, I just want better for the football club. But we can do better than a Højbjerg at Tottenham, is my point. We should be getting better players, right, to progress.
But then, look, you know, it's nothing to say people deserve this or deserve that, because we've got no effect on it, man, you know? Some people like Eric Dyer.
Oh, who does?
There are some people.
There is
what, you know, them liking him isn't keeping him at the club or kicking him out. It don't matter.
I mean, Ndombele got booed off one game, right? Got booed off because he walked off when we were losing against whoever it was or drawing against that League Two team, right? And he's still here. So
yeah, but he's got a cult following though. He actually has a cult following. That's what it is.
What?
Ndombele. Ndombele has a cult following. Trust me. You're on Twitter. You must see the cult following on Twitter for Ndombele. It's mad.
They've got to be winding people up though, mate. There's no way people want Ndombele if they are actually serious about football. We understand his talent, like Dave said, he's got more talent in his right toe than we have in our whole body. But at the same time, if you don't want to be there and he gets out of breath getting out of a fucking taxi to the training ground, who actually wants him in this squad? No one. No one can tell me you want Ndombele.
Look, when it comes to Højbjerg, I do think you got to take Ellie's point, you know, that some of the best coaches around the world do want him. But what I will say, Ellie, is they are defensive sort of thinking-minded coaches, pragmatic coaches. And in them systems, Højbjerg suits them systems down to a T.
Agreed.
Absolutely down to a T. In a more progressive system, look, he can't do it, right? We've seen him do it for Denmark. Get on the ball and create things and stuff like that. He just can't replicate that for Tottenham for some reason in a team. But look, being honest, we all have players we like. We all have players we love. Mine has been told. You know, it is what it is. Look, to the point,
Football's about emotion, not fact.
But big up, Ellie. Really appreciate the support. But look, look, this Højbjerg debate is one that's going to rumble on. I understand this. He's very divisive. There's some people out there that don't rate him. There's some people out there that do rate him. So, look, it is what it is. It is what it is. But Ellie, big yourself up. I really appreciate the support, and I do see the point you're trying to make. Whether people agree with it or not, I do see maybe the point that you are trying to make. But I do think we have to understand it is for a certain system, sort of. But look, that will be a big up, Ellie. Really appreciate the support. Let's go around the houses. Let's get let's find out where we can find everybody and why you need to get over there. So, Paul, my man, we'll start with you, brother. First of all, thank you very much for your time this morning and earlier and late last night. I really appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Nah, easy, man. It's always a fun coming on here. You can find me at Hotspur Hippie, which is a YouTube channel I've been going with for a few months, and just, you know, fart around on that, really. Click like and subscribe. I'm really selling it, aren't I? Yeah, get over there.
No, look, you want to get over to the only psychedelic show on our football show.
I forgot that bit. Yeah, the only psychedelic
show. That bit.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to do that bit, mate.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I play a game every day of Where's Paul? You know, because he could pop up on the top of a mountain, he could pop up down fishing, you know. So get over there, make sure you smash the subscribe button. Paul has some great takes, great things to say. Get over there and support your boy, Paul. Absolutely love it, Paul. Big yourself up, my man. I really appreciate your time, my man. James, where can people find you, brother?
Spurs related on YouTube. 5 subscribers from 2.3k. Can we get 5 subs? That would be awesome. But yeah, you can find me over there. There's all sorts going on over there. You know, the tactics of what's going on with Ange Ball, bit of positivity, debates, quizzes, all sorts, but also the ones that everyone seems to be enjoying are Jack's match day vlogs. He's going to games and getting fans' opinions and just that match day experience. If you guys aren't going to the games, you can experience it over on our channel. So yeah, 5 subs from 2.3k. Can we do it? But yeah, Dave, over everything, mate. Thanks for getting me back on these. I absolutely love them. It's been a laugh with Perchy and Paul as well, and yourself, Dave. It's been a great laugh. We've been cracking up over some stupid stuff, but that's what we do as Spurs fans. You know, talking about Richarlison and just if we don't laugh, we'll cry kind of vibe. Absolutely love it. You can get that kind of vibe over on this channel and all the other channels. So go and sub to everyone else as well, guys.
Nah, look, James, it's absolutely great to have you back, my man. You know, I do miss streaming you. We do have a good laugh on that. So I appreciate your time this afternoon, this morning, whatever, you know, where you want to sway it. But I appreciate it. Everybody, please do get over, check out Spurs Related. James, really great guy. Same as Jack as well. And so get over there, check it out. The match day vlogs are absolutely fantastic content. The quizzes are brilliant as well. And, you know, they've done a lot over this summer over player analysis and stuff like that, which are very good. So get over there, check them out, and make sure you smash that subscribe button. Also, follow the social media side of things. They're absolutely killing it. And then last but not very least, Perchy, my man, big up as well. Another one. I appreciate your time this morning.
Cheers, man.
Don't know Perchy had a 2-hour stream himself. Still come over here. He's giving us another 2 hours. So big up Perchy, my man. I really do appreciate it. Also, everyone who came over from Perchy TV, really appreciate that as well. So big yourself up, my man. Tell people where they can find you and why they need to get over and check you out.
Yeah, the Perchy TV. I'm doing my daily stream. So every morning on the weekend, 9 to 11. In the week, it's 12 to 1 during the week, every day. Try to get as much content out. Try and make it as interactive as possible. Get involved with all the chat. I love it. Like, big up to the chat today, by the way. I know some of the stuff you don't like. Listen, the thing is, what I will always say, like, keep it football, right? This is all it's about. Like, it's football debate. No one's got an issue. It's all football debates. We can agree or disagree, but you don't. What you guys want to sit and watch is you want to see us having that debate. You don't want to go, I agree, move on. Like you want to get passionate. We're passionate about our football club, right? And that's the thing. I'm about 22 away from 2,150. Wow. So I'm just sort of plowing through it how I get on. So a big up to everyone. That's what I say. Big up to everyone. Subscribe to everyone, guys. I always say this on my channels, not just us guys here. Go and subscribe to all the Tottenham YouTubers. Everyone puts a lot of effort in. People don't realize how much effort it does to you've got to set loads of stuff up, do a load of work, and a lot of us have all got day-to-day jobs as well. So, like, that's the one thing. Big up. Thanks for having me on as well, Dave, of course.
No, look, it's been a pleasure. You know, I've really enjoyed the talking today. I've really enjoyed the debates. And this is what football's all about, right? You know, this is what the world is all about. I'll be honest. It'd be a boring place if everyone agreed the same thing, if everyone thought the same thing. The fact that we can sit here and have these discussions till the cows come home, I absolutely love it. This is what it's all about for me. So, you know, hearing the opinions and getting the, you know, everyone chiming in and having their saying, hopefully we can all come out with the best solution for it. That's what it's all about. So everybody, please do get over and check out Perchy TV. And you know, he does a lot of stuff early in the morning as well, at lunchtime as well during the week. So make sure you get over, check them shows out. So big up Perchy, my man. Really appreciate the time today. Big Bobby says, is Ben Michael a Yido? Sorry, Perchy. Who's Ben Michael?
No, I think he's saying Ben Mitchell. I think he missed the T out.
BA, out of EastEnders.
I don't think it was anything like him. Like, you could have gone. You could have given anything else. You've literally just picked someone that's got glasses. That's what you've gone with there. Like, I've been called other things that have been better. Come on, you should try harder.
EastEnders. Oh, I love it. If you would have made a Coronation Street reference, I probably would have got it. But, you know, I'm not a big fan. Not sold on EastEnders yet, my man. But big up, Bobby. Oroch, Oroch's beats. He says, I'm not a
Oroch
Højbjerg
beats.
fan, but he would probably be a better centre-back than Dyer. Not even kidding.
Oh, is it?
Do you know
That's
what?
not difficult. It's not even difficult.
Do you know what? I think that's a shout, you know. I do think he plays centre-back better than Eric Dyer. However, my man, or what I will say is like, we got to stop repurposing players, right? You go out and buy a player in that position. We have to stop repurposing players. We've done it with Ben Davies.
Yeah, great.
Left back, left-sided centre-back, left wing-back. You know, you've done it with Dyer, centre-mid to centre-back. And that's where your problems lie, right? If you don't want to go out and spend the money and buy the players that know how to play that position, that's why you see mistakes happening and stuff like that. But I do take your point. I think it's very valid. I know Jack and Ellie are going to hang on to this one for dear life. That Højbjerg can play centre-back better than Eric Dyer can. Big up Oro Beats. And then Ellie says, you see, Dave, my Højbjerg love is creating much debate and interest. That it certainly is, Ellie. I give you that. I give you that. It's creating a lot of debate and interest. Absolutely brilliant, Ellie. Look, never let... Do you know what? No matter how much people say they don't like Højbjerg to you, never let that love die for a player, you know. We all have a player that we like, you know, that we love. So I absolutely adore it. Big yourself up, Ellie. But look, we are going to end it off there. Your boy's going to go off, set up the watch-along now. Myself and Jack will be back around 2:30 in an hour's time. So go and have some lunch and come back for the watch-along. Let me see if there's anyone else streaming. Who are we going to send you over to today, guys? Who have we got on? Who's on? I don't see anybody on. Okay.
Henry's just gone live.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Henry's
right.
just gone live.
So Henry Wright's gone live. So if people want to get over there, make sure you go over and check it out. I'll put the link in here. If you do want to go over, just you know, let Henry know the Irish Hotspur sent you. Give me 1 second. I'll get the link up. It takes ages, this stuff. See, I'm so slow at computers. Honestly, it's a joke. It's a joke. So, guys, here's the link. If you want to click on it, make sure you get over there and check that out. We'll see you all back here at 2:30 this afternoon. As always, a massive thank you to the panel, to Paul, to James, to Perchy. Really appreciate it. Great show today. Massive thank you to all you guys out there tuning in today. Your comments absolutely cracked me up, apart from George. He pissed me off. I'll never forget George. But look, honestly, a massive thank you to all you guys for tuning in. I also want to say a special thank you to Donovan Oosterreicher, Wembley 1, Dark Sun G, Michael, Mark Cook, Ellie, Dermatron, Adrian Chia as well. Big yourself up. Big Bobby, Faz Radfar, and also Oroch's Beats. So big yourselves up, guys. Really do appreciate that support. It really does help the channel out, keeps everything going, and keeps helping us make these improvements that you guys seem to be enjoying. Smash the like button on your way out. Come on, you Spurs. In the mighty hands we trust. And to his famous motto, we never stop. Let's go.
Guys. Everywhere we go.